And I'm live. Davion should be joining me shortly. Just kind of here, talking to myself. It's Friday night. Kind of hard to do live streams when other people do live streams, so kind of tough. But here we are. Happy Friday. How is everyone? Oh, I'm doing good. I'm just being funny. There's no one in here. Just in case you watch this later. So is anybody in here? Looks like it says 7 people are in here. I don't know. I can't tell. Oh, I see. Never mind. Chris, what's up, man? How are you? It's been a minute. Here's the cold beer. It's the well-deserved tall can right here for me. Ah, that nice sound of a crisp, cold, good beer. How are you, Chris? It is Friday. Let's go. If you're in here, drop a comment. Say what's up. Hit the like button. I don't even know if there is a like button in StreamYard, but anyways. How was everyone's week? I'm going to wait till Davion gets in here. Should be here soon. All right, he's getting set up right now. So he should be popping on pretty soon. Everyone have a good week. Everybody ready for the weekend? Anybody working this weekend? What's up, Rusco? Are you in Sacktown? Does this mean you're in Sacktown representing the Sacktown? Ken Small Engines, what's up, man? Benny Tome, what is up? How is everyone? You got your blue. Okay, so here we go. I was going to ask if anybody got any new tools. So Chris, he's doing good. Got his new Blue Point tool cart paid off. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I misread that. Got excited. You got it paid off, though. That's fantastic. Waiting for the new locking flex head ratchet to come in. Sweet. Oh, okay. Rusco's in Detroit. Sacramento, California here, baby. Where it's still summertime. It was 90 degrees yesterday. We had the hottest summer we've ever had. I didn't look it up, but we were at a record high for the amount of days over 100 degrees in a year. And then after they said that on the news, we had like 11 days in a row. It was 115 degrees. It was hot. It was really, really hot here. I can't remember the exact degrees, but it was well over 100 for a while. And my back door, where my one of my bays is right at the back door. I have to rack a car. Like normally you would rack the car. Let's say the posts are where I am. Normally you'd rack the car somewhere like that. And the door is there. I was having to try to move the cars as far this way as possible to get away from the door and close the door in the afternoon because it was so hot. The sun was beaming in that door. So if you even walk near that door, you would almost fry. Hang on one second. I got to send Dazeni a link. Give me 1 second. I apologize. I sent it to him. And I'm back. All right. Oh, so Ken's small engines. He has some frost. Hang on 1 second. Trying to get Dazeni on here. He's running a little late. You can see why. I think it's 9 o'clock there. It's 7:04 here. So I even got off work a little bit early so I could stop at the store, get some tall cans, have time to get set up, all that good stuff. All right. All right. We got 13 people in here. What else we got? Canada, Ontario. Nice. My wife's family is my wife's mother and my mother-in-law. Almost all of her family is in Ottawa. So we went out there to visit several years ago. But yeah, so Ottawa is where my mother-in-law's family is. All right, let's catch up here. All right, so we got Chris. I'll trade weather in the cold in Western Massachusetts. Been having frost on the ground in the morning for the past week. Man, that's crazy. Man, that reminds me of when I lived in North Carolina, man. It was cold. It was hot in the summer. I mean, hot, humid, miserable, and cold as hell in the winter. You know, snow and ice, freezing rain. I mean, it sucked. And then it would rain in the summertime, too. That was the other crazy thing. So, doesn't rain in the summer here, ever. All right, snow this weekend, supposedly in Utah. Holy moly. Picked up a metric GW deep swivel set. What is GW? Oh, gear wrench. Deep swivel set. Nice. K-tool dual wheel separator. Sending back the Sunex 3060 wrench set. Oh, okay. I hate that when you read something and then you get it and then you're like, oh, man, it was my fault. There we go. Smash that like button. Thanks, Ken. Oh, nice. Sweet, Benny. I'm happy to help, man. I have actually been, I do my darndest to help people. I always tell if you have a question, hit me up on Instagram. I'll do my best. I've had a couple times where be trying to help somebody and you're trying to, type it out, and I'm doing it on my phone, and you're trying to type out, what you want to say and listen to what they're trying to say. And, I've had a couple times where I just do a phone call just on Instagram, and I helped out a buddy in Southern California, kind of help, make sense of a flow chart on a Duramax. And I was at work trying to message him, and I'm like, you know what, man, can you talk on the phone? He's like, yep. So I just called him on Instagram, and I had another person on Instagram having a problem with they got like a little Kia, and they were having some issues. And we just talked on the phone, and it led to a bad clutch. So, and here's my buddy. What's up, Davion?
What's up, Tony? We live already?
Man?
We live already?
Yeah, I've been live, bro.
All right, dope.
Cheers. Friday, homeboy.
Yes, sir. Got this new beer. Well, it's not new. New to me. I think it's new.
What is it?
Carbach Love Street. They have one called Love Street Blonde. This one's Love Street Citrus. I tried it last week at Beer Fest.
Where you were just going to have one beer after another?
Yeah.
Nice. So we got like 10 people in here right now, just hanging out. Hey, Murray, what's up, brother? I haven't been on the live in a while, so haven't seen you in a while. I've been kind of busy, man. Trying to keep the content up, trying to keep stuff going, and with the kids and everything else. I just haven't had a chance to do the live stream. So
full-time job, man.
It is, man. But hey, so I want to show you. I'm super excited, Davion. You guys check this out.
Whoa!
Finally bought it, baby.
Oh, you got the U-scope?
I got it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you got it really fast then, huh?
And you know what's funny is in the videos it looks small, right? And then I got it and I realized it's even smaller than I thought. It's tiny. But
Yeah,
anyways,
it's
it's really cool. It's in the palm of my hand right there. So I did before I got on, I went ahead and did like an unboxing where I opened this up because I got the master set.
yeah. See,
That
I
comes
messed up.
with ignition leads, and multiple other things to test with. And so I'm sitting there going through stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what this stuff is. I'll figure it out. I'll let you know because the rest of the video is going to be when I use it. I'm going to use it,
Okay.
testing some different things to show.
Do a crank sensor. Pretty easy.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Or
I'll do
sensor.
what I can. It's hard, man. With doing what I do, it's like my videos. I can only do what I have in front of me. So it's kind of hard.
Your son has a Nissan, right?
An Infinity.
Or Infinity. Are the cam sensors are right there on the front, or they're on the back of the head? Because I know some are in the front and some are in the back.
The Infinity's in the back.
Because I know I had a Nissan and the cam sensors were right there in the front, very easy to get to. Because I was gonna say right there, you can just plug it up and you can play with it, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty excited, man. I got it out and I turned it on earlier just to look at it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's dope.
But
they need like a 2-channel one.
The master set, it comes with a paddle. I don't know if you have the master set, but the master set comes with a paddle to go on a coil unplug.
Yeah.
And then it has it has an alligator, and then it has a bunch of other leads and AC filter and all kinds of stuff.
They came with the AC filter. That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah. Because I got it. Oh, the only thing I don't have right now is the low amp probe. Because so I messaged them. So do you follow L5, the mobile guy in LA?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well he's a mobile guy. He works on everything from like forklifts to steer, all kinds of stuff, diesels, gas. Yeah. Anyways, he was asking me, he was looking into the Devo meter, and then so he was like, oh man, they're on back order, and so I messaged Devo about it, and they were like, oh, we have a few master sets left, and then he said he wanted to know about the U-scope, and I was like, let me check with him because I ordered it, but I didn't know when I was going to get it, so I messaged them. And they messaged me back like almost the same day and said, hey, we have everything in stock except for the low amp probe. But we can send everything now and just send the low amp probe in like 2 weeks or so when it comes in at no extra cost. And I was like, that'd be great. So I got everything but the low amp probe right now.
See, that's where I messed up on. So when I initially bought the U-scope, you basically, if you buy the master set, you save like $100. So when I bought it, I just bought the basic kit, right?
Right.
The U-scope. And then I was like, well, I don't have crap. So then I went and bought the low amp clamp. I bought the BNC adapter. I bought a lead.
Oh, do you use BNC leads?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have any BNC leads.
So I have for my U-scope, I have it. It's because the low amp clamp is going to be BNC.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to need the little wire adapter, but it should have came with the kit.
No, it came with everything. Yeah, it came with the small little plug that had the BNC on it.
Yeah, so you're gonna need that for the amp clamps.
Okay.
So and then the leads too. So I just bought the leads that are to BNC because if you ever get a Pico, you can just use the same leads.
Yeah, in the future, I'm hoping to get a Pico. That's my long term. But you know what? You know what's crazy, man? I do a lot of diagnostic, right? But I don't do a lot of crazy super diagnostic. Every once in a while. But I mean, most of the time, do some testing, do this, do that. And I'm like, you know what? It's this. I know it's that. And, I'm not having to get out of scope and do all kinds of crazy testing. But I do want to get a Pico in the future. They do a lot. I know Pico scopes you can do volumetric efficiency tests. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with them. Let me get these comments real quick. I don't want to get behind. The Infinities, they're in the back. Yeah, I did know that. I've replaced a bunch of them.
So which one is it? The
always replace both cam sensors and the crank sensor because they all go bad. And the computer, what's funny about that when you mention cam sensors? Do you know that the computer, most vehicles unless it's like a Mercedes or a BMW, the computer cannot correctly identify a bad crank sensor or a bad cam sensor all the time.
We can't detect
There's
it.
so many times that they
Well,
call it a cam sensor code, but the crank sensor's bad, or vice versa.
well, because it just realizes like a tooth is off or electric wheel or something, a signal's
Yeah,
missing.
it sees timing's off.
So I've seen so yeah, I had a 2003 Nissan Pathfinder, and the cam sensor were in the front. That's what I was asking.
What engine is that? That's not a 3.5 though.
Yeah, 3.5.
3.5?
Yeah, I put
They were in the front.
3.5. 2003, yeah. Like I'll send it to you right now.
Maybe early.
Older,
Okay.
older one, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was saying because I know some have them in the back, but I was like, I could have sworn I did one where they were in the front. It was like really easy to get to because it was an extended crank problem. It was just like crank,
Okay.
and so you have bank one, bank two. I checked bank one or something like that, and I had
Oh, you did a
signal.
little video with that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
and then bank two was there was no signals,
Right.
so threw the cam sensor on there, and
I
then
really
started
want
it
to.
normal.
I really want to start current ramping stuff. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, like with blower motors and fuel pumps and stuff like that. It's one of those things that it's a learned test. You can't just hook up to it and be like, "Yep, it's bad." You have to know what a good one looks like. And fuel pumps, like I've been in classes where they've said, like, I could scope a fuel pump and I can tell you if a fuel pump is starting to go out just by the current ramp. And I'm like,
From
yeah, okay. All right, cool. I mean, I would love to be able to do that, but dude, I don't do that kind of diagnostic. It's like, I mean, I do some, like I said, I do sometimes, but and you'll learn, you'll see, you're in a shop, you move to a shop, you're going to be, starting to.
So we've actually I've gotten some, there's been some crazy cars that have been in the shop since I've been there already. Um, it's funny, man. Okay, so you remember I posted that car that had the oil gushing out the oil pressure sensor?
Oh my God, that was crazy.
Bro, this is
I
wild.
never seen anything like that before.
Me neither. It
I
was
know.
it was a new sensor too.
That was a new one?
Yeah.
Oh, was it from O'Reilly?
Yeah. So it's a 2004, you know what I mean? Old
Right.
car. And basically originally was brought in for no start, hard to start or installing. And Mark had it at first, but he could never duplicate the problem, and he was basically saying like, dude, don't even spend money on this car. It's a lemon, it needs a bunch of work, blah blah. And for whatever reason, customer wanted to do the steering rack because it was leaking bad, and a bunch of like suspension work. So I was like, okay, I did it. And
Like the same car that Mark said was a lemon?
yeah,
that always happens, dude. I'm
it's
telling
like
you.
what, like they want to fix it. So I was like, okay, right.
I'm gonna
So
talk about that later. Actually, that's a topic I wanted to talk about.
I fix it, right, and then I go and start it, and it runs for a little bit, and I turn it back off because I was checking the power steering fluid, make sure it was like topped off, properly.
Right.
And then I went to go turn it on again, and it didn't want to start. So I finally like the concern happened, but found the crank sensors wires were shorted together. They were exposed, so they were touching each
Oh,
other
okay. Oh, outside the connector or something?
outside the connector. Yeah.
Okay.
So I saw it real quick because I was like, real fast field pressure. I was like, nah, it sounds like it's like, I was like, it sounds good, I was like, I put the scan tool, noticed I had 0 RPM. I was like, it's gotta be like a crank sensor problem.
Hey, good for you, man. Watching that RPM when you crank it over. It's little things like that a lot of people
What happened?
just don't understand. Go ahead.
What'd you say? Because it went blurred for me.
It's little things like that along the way, along your journey of doing diagnostics and repairs and moving up that ladder and having that experience. You're going to have all these little things that you do that are going to be quick little, how can I rule something out or aim me in that direction? Is it
funnel you
fuel? Is
away.
it spark? Is it, whatever? And you're going to find those little things. Good for you, man. I've worked with so many guys that never even would have thought of that and been doing it for a long time. It's crazy. I don't understand it, but anyways.
But yeah, so just fix the wiring harness real quick, right? And then, anyways, we were getting ready to ship it, and then for some reason the car kept stalling. We would let it run, 30 minutes, and then it would stall. So I was like, what the heck? So I was like, I brought it back in. I was like, I gotta duplicate it. I was like, I can't. And I'm letting it run, and then I'm checking another car, and I'm having Mark, shake the tires for me. So I'm checking the suspension and stuff like that. And I was like, hold on, let me go get some channel locks. So I go back to my bay and see a puddle of oil on the floor. I was like, what the hell is that? And I thought it was a steering rack. I was like, crap, all the power strings coming out. I
Right.
go turn it off, raise up the vehicle, and I was like, oh, this is engine oil. Like, what the hell? I raised it up, and I see the starter covered in oil, and I was just like, the only thing there is the freaking oil switch. Lower it down, and dude, just squirting. It's crazy.
Oh my god. Okay,
But
so that's funny that you bring that up about Mark saying it's a lemon. So I learned a long time ago. My first shop I was at. No, I'm sorry. My first flat rate shop. I worked at a shop all the way through school, and then when I got done with school, I moved to Sacramento and I went to a full flat rate. And I very early on, I had this 1985 Dodge Colt. Now this was 17 years ago, right? I mean, 85 seems really old right now, but 17 years ago it wasn't as old, but it was still old, right? So
yeah,
it's 1985 Dodge Colt with a manual transmission, and it came in, and I just called it for everything I saw: timing belt, oil pan, valve cover, all the leaks, and coolant, this and that, whatever. And they sold it all, and it was $2,500. And
wow.
she didn't even flinch at all whatsoever. So that brings me to today. So today I had a Subaru. Yesterday I had nothing. We're like kind of dead right now because of, I don't know, the
Slow season.
politics and everything else. And we have 11 mechanics, so it's kind of hard when you have
That's
11,
that's
11
crazy.
mechanics. But anyways, so yesterday I had nothing to do for like an hour, and I had like an oil change on a Highlander that had 100,000 miles. So okay, cool, got that because could possibly turn into something. And then did that oil change, turned it in, and then I got a Subaru with 177,000 miles. Oil change. That's
Dang.
it. Just an oil change. It was just there like 3 months before, and we did valve covers and plug wires and plugs for a check engine light for misfires. So I get the car, and I'm looking back through the history, and I don't see anything except for brakes, tires, oil changes. That's it. No fluids, no timing belt, no nothing.
No timing belt.
The car is original, and this car's been coming for a while. There's a lot of oil change history, right? So I'm like, all right, cool, okay. All the fluids, transpans leaking, front trench cases leaking, timing belt is, and then I always put this is an interference engine, so the service writer has some ammunition.
Yeah,
So
like
he
a
sells
bust.
a transpan and a timing belt, and I pull the covers off, and I'm filming the job already. I'm making a video on how to do this timing belt. But anyways, I see the belt. I don't know if you have TikTok, but I did a TikTok. Oh, it was on Instagram too, of the belt, because the belt was cracked and it was about to pop off. It was so cracked. And
Dang.
I showed the service writer. I was like, dude, how in the world has nobody ever recommended a time belt on this car? Like, it's 177,000 miles with an interference engine. So,
And
what?
and then I feel like there's like a lemon question coming out. Is that because people are like, oh, it's a
Oh,
lemon
no,
or
no, no. The lemon
oh
wasn't. It was just you recommend what you see. I don't care what the
yeah.
car looks like. I've worked with so many guys that go, oh, this is a 1998 Ford Escort. They're not going to do anything. And they do a turn
Everything.
signal switch, front and rear struts, hoses, and it's for $4,700. And
I
you're like, bro, this is the car that I've gotten cars where people didn't want to recommend anything, and I did, and I recommended everything, and they bought everything.
I guess
And
in a
you get,
sense it's just like I feel like in this I understand like if they want to pay for it, they want to pay for it, but it's like you have a car that has 250,000 miles. Like you need an engine resale, but you rather I mean, so let's just say you spend 5 grand and then transmission goes out a week later. You know what I mean? It's just like
But I mean, so the hardest thing about in this industry is you can't do an inspection and make recommendations based on what you would do or what you can afford or anything like that. You just call what you see. I don't care what it is. You see it, you take pictures, you recommend it. You let the customer decide what they want to do. You let the service writer decide what they're going to sell. I mean,
plain simple. Just
you
cut.
will, like Mark would have kicked that car out and been like, you ain't going to do nothing. It's a lemon. And then you end up doing a rack. And how many hours you get on that car?
I don't know. I'm salary now, so
But I mean, how many hours you think it was?
shoot, that was at least a good 8-hour job.
So there you go, 8 hours. And it would have got kicked out by somebody who, crazy is, has more time and experience in the industry as you, right? And he was going to kick it out. You recommended. I'm not saying anything about Mark. I'm just saying this is a common thread in the industry. There are a lot of guys that won't either take the time to look at the history, which you can scroll through the history in like 2 minutes usually, right? What kind of fluid services? Besides, you should be doing that anyways, because if a car was just in a year ago and you did 100,000-mile service and you did
And
all the
recommend.
fluids and spark plugs and wires and everything else, and then you write it up for everything, and then they call the customer and the customer goes, "But didn't I do all that stuff?"
Yeah,
And then it looks bad, and then you take the potential to lose customers. So, anyways, that's my take on that. But let me get to these comments really quick.
yeah.
I don't
We
want to
got
get behind.
Benny here talking about a misfire or something like that.
Warner, the Devo is awesome, man. I love it. I did a little test on my TikTok, and I don't know if it came through on Instagram, but it wasn't all the way there. And so the story, I linked it to my TikTok, and I was doing a test on one that we put a used ECM in, and ended up having the same problem. And turned out to be that ECM had the same problem, and it was bad as well. But I see what. Okay, yeah, I know a Pico scope. I definitely want one. That is definitely. I'm in the same boat with the super die guy. Yeah, it is hard to learn that stuff when you don't have time to do it.
That's very true. There's certain things like I don't know, like I have knowledge on. Let's say like so there's this other guy Ryan. He has a Pico scope and everything. He's a transmission builder, cool guy, and
Is he at your shop?
yeah, he's at our
Okay.
he's at our shop. Um, so he has a Pico scope, and like they were checking the misfire and stuff like that. So like I've never used a Pico scope, to check anything. All I have is my U scope, but the things I've tested a lot are blower motors, man, with my amp clamp. I haven't had anything other problems where I can like, oh, let me use my scope, unless it's like a cam sensor, crank sensor
Right.
thing. I haven't been able to like check a fuel pump with my scope or anything.
Right.
But when that does come down, I'd rather, I got power, I got ground, checking your ends, load the wires. All right, call a pump. I got zero fuel pressure.
Right.
And then after that, once it's caught, if I have some time, let's hook it up and play with it. What does it look like? And then once I replace the part, what does it look like now?
But when you use an amp clamp on a fuel pump, what you're trying to see is you're looking at a fuel pump that's working, and you're trying to see if it's bad. That's usually when you're amp clamping a fuel pump. Like power and ground, like if you have a dead fuel pump, you're generally not going to do an amp clamp on that. It's going to be if you have a drivability problem or you suspect there's a fuel pump problem, you can use an amp clamp and then you can see the whatever. But hang on one second, let me catch up on this really quick. So a fuse buddy for current ramping. Okay, so I just got like a little light bulb socket. And I'm going to make a little tester that you can hook up a light bulb to. And that actually works really well for testing a circuit.
Are you putting banana plugs?
What?
Are you going to put banana plugs?
I don't know what I'm going to do for the tester yet. But Blake's Restoration and Automotive. What's up, brother? How's it going, man? Been a while. All right, the biggest problem I had was with my 2011 Audi S4. It was misfiring, so obviously you check the easy thing: spark plugs, coils, check the catalytic converter with the heat gun. It was reading fine. Jeff Hurley, how's it going, man? It has been a while. Changed some fuel injectors because it seemed to be leaking, especially one of them. Long story short, it was the catalytic converter. Even though it was reading fine, it was collapsing, I think. Oh, wow. One of the injectors failed making the cat. Oh, okay, all right. Well, that's usually what happens. Like I've had Nissans and stuff that come in. I had a Nissan that would barely. It would either run or barely run. I can't remember. And one of the cats was plugged. The passenger side cat got the cat replaced, and then found that it had a bad coil. And then or an injector will do that too. But yeah, usually when you have, depending on how the cat fails, a lot of times it comes from a reason that it failed.
Fails for a reason.
Yeah,
Remember,
catalytic converters don't just fall apart. Like
it's
the
from
catalytic converter is an oven, and it cooks. That's all it does. And if it doesn't have the right ingredients, then it cooks itself. So, but
easy way to explain it. I like it.
Yeah,
Simple,
so
simple.
How's the new shop going? Tell me. Let's talk about it. I wanted to ask you, but I figured this is the perfect time because I hate talking through text message.
Yeah, and then
you have no excitement or like, hey, how's it going? Well, it's okay, or it's great. You don't get that in the text message, right?
Yeah, you don't feel the enthusiasm or the sadness.
Yeah.
It's good.
Hang on. Let me. So you guys. So he worked at a shop for how long were you at your previous shop?
5 years.
Okay, 5 years, and he worked with the boss. It was him and the boss most of the time, and the boss did a lot of the diags. You got to do some, and you did a lot of just mostly R&R, just what the boss told you to do, right?
Yeah.
And then you got an opportunity to move to a shop where you get to be more than just a grunt, right?
Yeah.
And you work with a master tech. Well, I mean, Mark's a master tech, right? I mean,
yeah.
In a master tech, I don't mean a master tech like on paper and patches. I don't care about that. But abilities is how I consider a master tech.
Yeah.
And so you're working with a master tech now in the shop. So tell me about how that's going.
So it's pretty good. So there's actually 3. So Mark's master tech. Well, he's master certified and he's master tech, and then there's Ryan. He's master certified. He does diags, but he was a trans builder, so he's been building transmissions for like 40 years, like 40 something plus years.
Holy crap!
Yeah. So he's a really cool guy, and then the shop owner, he's a master tech as well. He worked at Nissan for I think he said 17 years.
Wow.
Something like that. He worked at Nissan for a really long time before he went on his own. So
are you a full independent shop, like everything?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're gonna everything. So there's 6 techs in total. So,
wow.
7 if you count the boss, because he does check some cars too and work on something that he can knock out fast or whatever. So it's Mark, Ryan, me. Well, actually, they're getting rid of a guy now. He called him Mexico. His name is Valdez. No call, no show several times.
Oh, that's
just always late and stuff like that. So
goodbye.
He's getting rid of. And then there's this other guy named Alex. He actually used to work with the boss back at Nissan, so they're like buddies. And then there's this other kid named Jose. We call him Josie, or I call him Josie. He's a kid, oil change, loop tech guy. So first week, I guess they really didn't. I don't think the boss really believed what I could do.
Right.
Because I went there, about a month ago to check out the shop. Want to see what he had to offer, and he asked what I could do. And when I told him what I could do, he asked, well, how much are you making at your other shop? How many hours are you putting out? And I told him, and he was kind of like, the way he said, he's like, you can do this and this, but you're only making that much money at your other shop. And the way I took it was like, either you're lying about your capable. You're
You
lying
can't- or
about
you're
your
underpaid.
yeah, or you're underpaid, right? And which essentially is the problem. So the first week there, it's kind of like, can you do this? Can you do this? Hey, you're gonna do this engine, okay? And then, hey, do you know how to do timing? Like, yeah, like, just like question. And like, there's another car like I needed AC. I had nothing to do. I was like, hey, you want me to check this car? It just came in for AC. And he's like, you know how to check AC? I was like, yes. Like, just give me the cars, man. Let's go. Um, so that was the first week. It went by pretty fast. And the only problem I have right now is like it's a 30-minute drive. So, uh,
Dang.
and I'm driving the F-150. Wasting gas. Like, but so that's the only downfall because before my old shop
Is
was
it
like
30 minutes with traffic, or is it just straight 30 minutes just road?
straight 30 minutes, man.
Oh man, because in California, if your drive, you could have a drive here in California. Like my drive to work, no traffic is like 12 minutes probably, but to work it's like 20.
So you got like
So,
32 minutes and sitting in, stopping to give a thumbs
so
up.
hang on, let me catch up really quick
Yeah.
because last time I got like way behind and I feel really bad. All right, so Blake's Restoration is just trying to stay afloat. Now that I got my service cart tour uploaded, trying to think of good video ideas. Nice, Blake. Blake, my advice, something someone told me a long time ago. Don't worry about your views. Don't worry about your subscribers. Just focus on your content. Make amazing content, and your subscribers, your views, and all of that stuff will come in time, but don't focus on the analytics of anything, because then you'll start to suffer in your content because you'll just be trying to put stuff out.
Trying to put out
Juan,
videos.
just the other day, Juan, I got a notification saying it was 1 year ago when you won my giveaway. And he won the grand prize giveaway where he got the gift card and I think he got a flashlight, some thin wrenches from Capri, and the grand prize was the gift card for me. The other stuff was from my sponsors. And Ed, the old tech guy, man, Ed, you have some really cool TikToks, man. I like them, brother.
Yeah, go buy you a coffee.
I appreciate it.
Go buy a tall boy.
I just joined the TikTok club like not that long ago. Everybody at my work and everywhere else is like, dude, you're doing Instagram, you're doing YouTube. Why don't you do TikToks? And then I realized
TikTok.
I could do a TikTok and it uploads to my Instagram. So I'm like, why am I not doing it on both? Because some people only do TikTok and don't do Instagram, or vice versa.
I have a TikTok, but I have nothing on it. Like I don't even know how to use it.
Man, so TikTok is one of those things where if you ever see a meme or anything at all where they joke around about being on TikTok and going and doing something productive, it's so true. It's so addictive. You just sit there.
Just scrolling through shit.
Before I got on, I'm not even kidding. Here was my kid, right? Just flicking TikToks like all the day. And you're like, dude, can you not do anything? And he can't stop. And then a grown man does TikTok, and then you realize, like, oh crap, it's not just him.
It's me.
So, anyways, let me get here.
Yeah,
man, mechanical triage. Man, this guy is so cool. I like this guy right here. He put me in one of his YouTube videos a long time ago. Man, it was really cool. And all I could think about was, how in the world did you learn how to edit videos like that? Because I couldn't do it. And I'm still not good. I still can't do it. Probably because I edit my videos from my phone onto my computer. So I use a mobile editing software because I don't want to have to upload my content from my phone to my computer to be able to make a video.
So you don't use KineMaster no more?
What?
You don't use KineMaster no more?
I do.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
So KineMaster is a mobile service, right? So what I do is my phone's a Samsung, so I can plug my phone into my computer, and my phone will turn into my computer. So my computer screen will be my phone screen. So then I click
Okay.
on KineMaster. So instead of having a little device like this editing my video,
You got the big
now I'm doing it
ass.
on my giant computer.
Good, better on your eyes, eh?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that there's, obviously there's a lot better editing software out there.
Oh, for
But for
sure.
right now, it does great. It does the job, and I think it works.
It's
So,
very cheap too.
they just upped their prices, and it's coming next month.
No way, really?
Yeah, like $130 for a year or something like that. Yeah, it's
I
coming out.
I pay monthly, so like.
All right, so Warner Richards has a 40-minute drive, no traffic, just straight up, just roads.
Yeah, it's
Blake,
rough.
we all do junk videos. Sometimes don't worry about it. Just make content. You will find your groove. Ed, you are absolutely right. And Blake, the more content you make, the more comfortable you become behind the camera, and the better your content gets. I look back at my old videos and I'm just like, oh my God.
Ooh, cringing,
And you know
cringe.
what's funny is, hey, so I did an oil cooler video on a Sprinter, right? A couple months
Uh-huh.
ago. And in the video, I didn't show how to take the turbo off. And I said, you have to take the turbo off, and here's a link right here. And I put a link, right? But every time I clicked the link, it didn't work. And so my wife and I were sitting there, like right after I uploaded it, like the next day. I was like, click the link in the video and see if it works for you. And so she clicks the link, and this is like a way long time ago. I had only taken like 4 turbos off at this time. And there's this horrible echo in the video. I mean, it's bad, really bad. Right? So I'm like, oh my God. Well, it just so happened I was actually in the middle of a turbo job on a Sprinter at that moment at work. And so I was like, dude, plus I've done like 12 more since that video. Like I've done a lot more. So I'm way more familiar with that.
So you're remaking it.
And so I did. I remade it. I remade the video and then I put like in the description, here's a better link to that video, but
There's
it's
a
kind
better
of funny.
version.
Okay, let me get to this really. I'm gonna go through these comments really quick. Mechanical Triage used your mobile tool setup to base mine for the mobile repair. Nice. TikTok has a retention rate of almost 2 hours. Hell yeah, Ed, you're totally right, man. It's bad. It's bad. Hey, Davion, don't download it, bro. Like, don't do it.
I have the app, but
it.
I never get on it at all.
Unless you're gonna put content on there, don't do it, or you're gonna be like, my life's gone. Your girlfriend's gonna be like, bro, it's TikTok or me. Self-taught. I do it all on my phone though. Oh, that's right. He does it. He does it all through. He told me a long time ago. The iPhone app. It's an iPhone editing whatever.
It's called Subtap.
I don't remember what it's called, but it was a long time ago, so it's probably something different now. But all right, Dazeni, I've been meaning to text you on Facebook. How are you liking the Husky as far as daily use?
Let's see. Here's the thing. I mean, it's been good. I haven't had any problems with it. But the thing is, I don't work out of that toolbox. That's basically I bought the toolbox as an overflow for my Snap-on cart.
Right.
So I put all my standard or special tools in there.
Standard?
Yeah.
What is that?
SAE.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I have all that in my toolbox because I don't hardly ever use it anymore. But go ahead.
Yeah, because I was at the old shop. I was working on old stuff or like heavy
I know.
equipment.
I still get it out once in a while, but yeah.
So that's like basically my overflow. But I mean, I haven't had any of the drawers like.
How does the quality feel? How does it feel? Is it strong? Does it feel flimsy? Do the drawers do like this when you pull them out?
See, okay, if the drawers are empty, they kind of like they're not smooth. But when they got some weight in there, they help. They're like rolls better. Like my heaviest drawer, where I got like my ball joint press, my hub bearing tools, and like a bunch of other things. Like that drawer like rolls very smooth, like in and out. All the other drawers seem fine. I don't have any problem. There's one drawer that's completely empty. I just have like pins in there, and that one's like when I pull it out, it kind of gets stuck, and I'm like, "Hey, come out," and then I'll push it in, it slides in. But I feel like if it has weight in there, it'll come out.
Wait, you have a drawer in your toolbox that's empty?
Yeah.
Can I borrow it? Because I'm having stuff on top of my boxes.
Time for a Mr. Big or what?
Well, I'm gonna tell you about that in a minute. My complete disappointment. But yeah, I got stuff on top of my hutch now because all my crap's full. I'm stuck. Okay. Blake, one of my worst videos where people line up to call me dumb has over 30,000 views. Yep, very true, Ed. You just got, and you know what? Here's my philosophy on that too. I don't know how you
Theo,
feel,
what's
Ed,
up, Theo?
but I do not delete anything. Everything that's on my channel, I have kept. Even if I look back and I think, what a dumbass, I still leave it on there because you have to start somewhere, right? You can't always be amazing from day one. So if you want to see someone grow, plus I love my content, everything I've put out. Maybe I didn't speak so well, or there was a noise or something, but that's my theory, because there's some people that remove old content because they don't like how they sounded. I don't do
Yeah,
that. But
that's
anyways, let
dumb.
me
Like,
roll
just
on to
leave it
here.
there. Bro, if
Theo,
you watch
what's
my
up,
first
man?
video, it's like you can tell I was all nervous talking and
Oh man,
stuff like that. I was talking about some wrenches and shit.
Theo, what's up, buddy? Whatever Ed said, it's only half true. Ha ha. Theo. All right, let's all right, right on, Blake. Thank you. Working out, good for you. There we go. How's it going with that, Blake? Sup, Ed? How are you, my friend? I'm just gonna roll through here real quick. It took a while to get out there, but everyone calling. I'm just trying to get through here, guys. I don't want to leave anyone out. He's a turd that won't flush. That's my favorite turd. All right. Blake been mobile for 6 to 7 years now, and he works. Mechanical Triage works in the O'Reilly parking lot sometimes. Just so you guys know, if you ever need him, he may just be in the O'Reilly parking lot. Just saying. Really cool guy though. Really cool guy. I like his personality shows in his content, and that is super important. It's not about being all professional and want to do it like this. It's personality, man. Bring your personality. Like if you were there with someone doing it, they make it exciting. That's Mechanical Triage right there. You could have a real crappy situation. He'll make it exciting.
Honestly, dude, I think that's gotta be like one of the best characteristics of the shop, man. It's like I've been like by myself essentially, the last 5 years. Not having coworkers or anything other than my boss. There's only so much you can talk to him about. Um, so like every day is just like something like I'm laughing about.
Well,
And
you're
they're
all
always
new now. You're like, dang, I got coworkers.
yeah, dude. It's like it's
That
funny.
don't
Like
leave the cap. Hey, that don't leave the cap on the radiator hose.
oh, that's I haven't got to that
Hang
part
on,
about the shop, man.
Theo, what is this SAE? Man, what
I
is
heard
that?
you like Sunday's SAE
Ah,
safe and everywhere.
I use SAE a lot. I used to. I have a lot of standard. It actually was on my cart for a long, long time. And then we don't work on old crap anymore, really. So, okay, he works on a lot of farm equipment, construction. I got to roll through this, guys. I don't want to leave anyone out here. Warner Richards is now stacking wrench sets. Company won't allow me to stack on top. Oh, that sucks, dude. So a lot of SAE. Okay. You guys in your SAE, all your standard stuff.
They call
look,
it
Mechanical Trash. You deleted a lot of his old stuff because I thought it wouldn't help my channel analytics. Man, you know what? I don't
watch my videos either. Only during editing. And if I do
I
watch
don't know Mechanical Triage. I don't know how that affects the analytics. I'm not. My wife has said that Sprinter video that I did, the one with the echo. She's like, you should delete that. I'm like, no, it's a good video. It just has some echoing in the beginning. And
it's like Flat Rate Master. Like if you go to his old videos, man. I mean, like the quality Flat Rate Master.
Oh yeah.
Like he had his little yellow Matco box and the quality and you see your progress in that you've put into the channel and things of that nature, so it's cool. Like you get to see where you come.
Especially when people look at your channel, when you go back to South Main Auto and you look at his channel and you're like, oh, 8 years ago, here's your video from But anyways, everybody's different. Everybody does their own thing.
Hey, you're at 20K now, no? 15K?
No, 16.
Dang, it's been 2 years?
Not quite 2 years. I think November is 2 years.
That's crazy.
All right.
Time
Ed the
flies,
Old
right?
Tech Guy, a lot of SAE. You guys, I bet Ed the Old Tech Guy doesn't use any standard. He works on Honda Ridgelines, I think. It's the Honda truck. Hey, don't mess around. He loves his Honda Ridgeline. I'm telling you.
Them
Go
Hondas.
on there. Go on his chat. I go on his live stream. I don't have a lot of time for live streams. I don't do it anymore because I just don't have time. But I do go on people's live streams when I have time to just listen. And sometimes I say hello, but a lot of times I can't. I'm just there to listen. And then almost every single time I get on there, somebody's talking about his Honda Ridgeline or he's defending it. I'm telling you.
It's the
Bunch of
most,
Honda Ridgeline haters. But you
most
know what?
American made truck.
But the crazy thing about it is, I don't care what anybody says about a Honda Ridgeline, right? They're a little weird, and the newer ones are weirder.
Weirder.
But you got to remember one thing: it is a Honda.
I'll
The
tell you
two
what.
best car and truck manufacturers, not counting diesels, are Toyota and Honda, in my opinion. Toyota number one, Honda number two. If Enright Automotive was here, I would say, no, it's Honda first, and then Toyota. No, I'm just kidding. That's his. Honda won for him and Toyota too, but
Toyota
number
Honda.
one. That's
Toyota
just my
spanks
opinion.
Honda.
But then when you come to diesels, a lot different. But anyways, let
See,
me get to these really quick.
The thing is, Toyotas and Hondas are made here in America. You know what I mean? America, fuck yeah.
Here we go. Hang on. Let me just get through here. We call it Imperial. Yeah, they do call it Imperial or SAE, or like my coworker go, hey man, do you have this socket? I don't have it. It doesn't match any of my sockets. I'm like, 9/16, not 14 millimeter.
For freaking converter bolts on Fords.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of like sockets in my drawers that are all, standard. I don't think I have anything on my cart anymore. Because I got too much crap, dude. I got like sockets like coming out of my ear holes. And then I have to like bring them home because I have too much. Wait, hang on. I just saw it. What'd he say? Look, somebody's talking about you call a Ridgeline a truck. I told you.
It's a
most American-made car. See?
Chevy and Ford are not American-made, though. I mean, you got Tundra, Tacoma. You're telling me a Ridgeline's going to put up with a Toyota Tacoma and a Tundra? Nope.
Well, no, but a Ridgeline would be more. A Ridgeline couldn't compete with a Tundra though, because it's not a full-size truck. It couldn't
compete with a Tacoma either.
It would be on the level of a Tacoma, not a Tundra, because it's not a full-size truck. But I do have to say, the newer Ridgelines are kind of weird, but they're kind of neat in a way. Like they're the kind of truck that you want to own if you go to Costco a lot. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. No, but they are kind of neat, though. I remember the first time I got one, I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Like,
I will say, though, I've never worked on a Ridgeline.
Really?
Ever. Never worked on a Ridgeline.
Man. And they had the 3.5 in them. I mean, Honda made a good engine. That 3.5 was a good engine. They just had a crappy transmission on it, but yeah, he loves his Ridgeline. I'm telling you, man. And there is nothing standard on a Ridgeline, let me tell you. No frame, no truck. All right, everything had a small block Chevy Ford or the best vehicle. All right, let's see. That thing isn't a truck. Hey, but you know what? Hey, what Chevy Avalanche? It's funny that you bring that up because
they both have the same fucking.
Yeah, but go look up an Avalanche and how many. What is the big ass motor from Chevy? An 8 point what?
8.1.
It's something like that.
Because now they got like a. Yeah, I think that's an 8.1.
Yeah, so whenever the Avalanche, around that time. So think about it like this: how many Chevys have you seen with an 8.1? And how many of them were Avalanches? Every single one I've ever seen with an 8.1 has been an Avalanche.
Really?
Every single one comes in big ass motor. Yep. I know mechanical triage. I agree. It's not a truck. It's a Costco machine, but But the Avalanche comes with a big ass motor,
Every
twice
Avalanche
the
I had
size
had a
of the
little
Ridgeline.
5.3.
What?
Every Avalanche I've worked on has got like a 5.3 in it.
No, I know. I'm not saying every Avalanche I've worked on, but every single Chevy with an 8.1 has been an Avalanche that I've seen.
Oh, okay. I get
Yeah,
what you're saying now.
I've never seen one in a truck
Like
ever,
a 2500. Nope.
ever.
Yeah.
Nope.
Get
They
you
either
just
get a
saying.
diesel or an 8.1 Avalanche. Yeah.
Either get a 6.0
Uh,
or you get a 6.6.
so let's see. So Theo's gonna go and outpull Ed's
This Ridgeline.
Ridgeline with
The
a
golf
golf
cart.
cart.
Hey, electric power
Yeah,
right
yeah. There
there.
we go.
Instant sort.
8.1. You're right. Hey Theo,
8.1.
how many Avalanches have you seen with an 8.1 in it? Let's. I'm just curious. Now I haven't seen a
5360
lot of
81.
Chevys with an 8.1. I've only seen probably about 4 with an 8.1, and they 100% have been in Avalanches.
Every time.
Everyone and every single one of them had big ass tires, and you had to stand. They were all in for an exhaust leak. You had to stand on the tire to look over the fender. The pain in the ass.
Gotta charge
Every
extra
single
for
one of them was in
those.
for an exhaust leak.
Hey, I actually worked on my first Nissan Cummins today.
Oh, those are. I've never worked on one, but I
The
see them.
Titan.
I've seen them.
Easiest power steering pump ever.
That's the dumbest thing right there. I want to own a Cummins, but I want to put it in the stupidest manufactured truck there is.
You know, it's like a V8, right? It's not even like the 5.9, 6.7
What?
Cummins straight. It's not a straight six like the 5.9 or 6.7. It's a V8.
It's a V8 Cummins?
Yeah, total
Really?
different engine, bro. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah. I always thought it was,
Oh my God, it's even
com-
stupider now.
and they only did it for like 3 or 4 years, and they got rid of it because it was a fucking shitty design.
Oh my God. Oh, I did not know that. Oh my God, hang on. I need a
V8
minute. Hang on.
Cummins,
I got to get a refill.
crazy.
Oh my God.
What's up, guys? Only
Oh
one
my
with the
God, that's
8.1
even
right here.
stupider, man.
I should have took
Hey,
some pictures, man. I was
I got a
going to, but
6-liter Power Stroke right now that I have to diagnose that can't move. It came in with a blown up tranny, and they said like the tranny went out. And
4R100.
what?
4R100.
Yeah, and then it had they gave it to another guy because it was just a transmission problem. And he scanned it and had like cylinder contribution on number 2, an injector code, an underboost code, a map sensor code. And so then I got it, and I told the service writer, I was like, yeah, give me a couple hours because it's going to take me like with the direction. It was like contribution, boost codes. It was going to take me more than like the normal check engine light, which is like an hour.
Was it bad injectors or what?
No, well, what sucks about diesels is every single time I get a diesel, it's got a drivability problem. The batteries are always dead every freaking time. I swear to God. So then I got to charge up both the batteries because if you guys have not seen any of my Instagram, any of my TikToks, any of my anything, if you have a 7.3, a 6-liter, anything where you can crank that starter over and you have any sort of a misfire, contribution code, injector code, I don't care. Turn the key off, crank the engine over, and listen. You can hook up an amp clamp if you want to, and you can watch the waveforms to see if you have a low cylinder.
Right there on the side or what? With the little
Yeah, so
screwdriver?
I just did one yesterday. I just did an Instagram again. I've done it several times. I did it on TikTok and it posted to Instagram. Right there by the blower motor. You disconnect the single wire connector. Amazingly, it reaches the positive terminal of the battery. Why do you think that is? So you disconnect it, you bring it under the vacuum lines, you turn the key off because the truck will start if the key's on. And you push it in, and the positive battery terminal has a spot where the bolt sticks out about that far. It is absolutely perfect for the connector to go on, make contact, and crank the engine over. It is almost like Ford designed it that way.
To do a quick compression test, RC test.
What?
Like for a relative compression test to see how it
Well,
sounds?
you're doing a
Like clear
relative
flow?
compression, but you're doing it just by ear. So it's remember how you said
That's what I'm
earlier
saying.
you hooked up to the truck and you saw there was no RPMs and you know there was a crank sensor problem?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know how long it takes to go and check compression on a 6-liter diesel?
Long pulling valve
Long ass
valve
time, and it's a
cover.
pain in the
Yeah.
ass. It's a
Pulling
pain in
fucking
the ass.
valve covers and
No. You don't have to take the valve cover off. You take the
oh wait for
glow plugs in the head.
wait on
You go
which
to the
one?
fender well. I said a 6-liter,
Oh.
but
Sorry.
it doesn't matter. First of all, you have to have a gauge to be able to test 500 pounds of compression, right?
The diesel gauge, yep.
And then you got to go through the fender well, which is a pain in the ass, disconnect the glow plug harness. Well, you can't just take one off. Then you got to take the glow plug out. Then you got to check compression, right? Well, why would you do all of that if there was not an engine problem? So the easy way to do it is you disconnect that connector, you bring it over, and you touch the battery terminal, and you listen. And you listen for two things. You listen for this, crank, 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 crank. Okay, that means the engine is fine. It's not the engine. Or crank, 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 crank. That means you have a mechanical problem. So then you know you're going to sell a compression test, valve cover removal, inspecting the rockers, all that stuff. Or it's an injector. If you crank it over and the engine cranks over smooth, it's not the engine. Because remember, a contribution balance, it has to be pretty far out before it's going to set that code. Meaning you have to have a pretty bad mechanical problem for that to happen. On diesels, they generally don't have intermittent mechanical problems. They either have a bad engine or they don't. Generally.
It's either one or the other.
If that happens, so you take a 6-liter, for example, and you have a contribution code and you crank it cranks over smooth, then you know you either have a bad injector, you have a bad injector harness, or you have a bad thickum. One of the three is the problem.
Thickum.
It's the fuel injection control module. So
and
it's
the
most
valve cover
likely
in the back. Yeah.
It's most likely the injector, but it can be the thickum. So I had one not that long ago, and all I did was I disconnected one injector connector, and I moved it, and I plugged a different injector connector into that same injector, and I did a buzz test. And I listened for that injector to buzz.
And it buzzed.
And it buzzed that injector, even though it didn't buzz the next one because it was disconnected. It buzzed the one that was not buzzing before. And so I knew the injector was okay. Then it's the thickum.
Oh, okay, not the harness.
Well, it could be the harness too. I sold a harness on that one because it was all bad, but I've seen guys.
That makes sense.
I've seen guys do a whole bunch of work to diesels.
Wait, so
and then it turns out to have a mechanic. I worked with a guy at some point in my career, had a diesel, did some work to it, and then said, "Oh, it's got a bad engine." When you could have just cranked it over from the starter wire and went, "Oh, it's got a low cylinder. It needs a mechanical test." So it pisses me off when people do that because it's so easy. It's so damn easy to test for it.
But now I know.
Now you know. And if you don't know, always remember this. If you ever get a 6-liter, 7.3, anything, and you think there's a problem, go back and find my content. And you'll be like, oh, shit, that's how you do it.
Wait, so only 7.3s have the glow plugs in the valve covers? Not 6.0s don't?
No. So the 7.3s are under the valve cover.
Valve cover. And 6.0s are out?
The 6.0s, 6.4, 6.7, they're all outside. They don't
I know
put
the 6.4 and 6.7s, but I didn't remember the 6.0s.
Yeah, only the 6.7, only the 7.3s were under. Hang on, let me get to the comments really quick.
They're talking about old trucks.
All right. He's working on a tractor. Only one with an 8.1 around here. 8.1s in trucks and Suburbans. Oh, wow. I've never seen that before. Love my old stuff. I don't love the old stuff. I hate the old stuff.
Keep it.
I like the new stuff. May have to do a video on restoring my K5 tomorrow. So I had a K5 Blazer one time come in, and a long time ago. And it came in, it was covered in spider webs. It had been sitting for a really, really, really long time. Guy tows it in, says, I want all brand new brakes. and I want a brand new engine, and I want it to be beautiful, and I'm going to give it to my brother or something like that. So I had to put like a fully rebuilt engine in it. I had to paint all the brackets. It was a pain in the ass. All
10
brand
grand
new.
up front.
I get done with it, and it's in the evening. It's like 6 o'clock. Boss is already gone. Trying to start it, won't start. I spent like 2 hours trying to figure it out. I'm like, what the hell is going on? The next day, my boss comes in. He's like, how'd it go? I'm like, man, it won't damn start. He goes, your distributor is 180 off. I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah, it is. He said, I do it every time. Flip your distributor 180, it'll start. Flip the 180, start right up. I was like, holy crap. So if you didn't, it's kind of weird unless you like. The only way to really test it is we just did this on a 4.3 the other day. I showed my coworker because it's essentially the same thing. The only way to really not have it 180 off is you roll the number one piston to top dead center, and you put a leak down gauge on there, and you either have 100% leakage or you have 15 or 20% leakage. If you have 15 or 20% leakage, you know you're on the compressor stroke. If you have 100% leakage, you're 180 off. So that's the only way to really truly tell, and that's how I had him do it. So anyways, so that was my story. Oh, and the K5 Blazer it had a cooling system problem. What the hell's going on? I had a funnel on there, and it was sitting there running, and all of a sudden, coolant just geysered out of the radiator neck, and it had a bad thermostat. But all right, let's see. Let me get Blake on the lookout for the cat. I got some comments to get to here. 4-year-old Chevy truck frame buckles. 10-year-old. Depends on where you live, though, Ed. ETR Garage. What's up, brother? How's it going, man? Long time no see. All right. So Blake is a cat guy. Yeah, I
don't know too much about heavy duty diesels. That's
let's see. Wait, what's going on? Okay, all right. It's like I'm gonna have like a lag over here.
I do got all these books that Mark gave me though. Look, fucking study material for ASCs and shit. I got this diesel engine book. So a lot of reading. All the light vehicle diesels too.
But you know where you learned a lot about diesels?
Working on them.
Is it me?
Watching your channel. But that's how I learned a lot about diesels.
Yeah, there you go. That's about the world, man. Learn all kinds of stuff on
Tony. There. You can learn how to how to cut a cotter pin. That's you. Definitely you. It's never me.
Oh my god. That was hilarious. The comments that do.
Oh man, that made me laugh. I was like, wow.
What is this, man? All these freaking morons.
I don't know. That's how I was taught. I've never had a problem. I think it looks cleaner, and it's not gonna go anywhere. You know.
So here's the funny thing about all the morons with the stupid. Is it now?
I don't know. Is it me? Am I cutting out? I see clear on my screen, but you're blurred. And I think it's frozen.
Is it me?
I think so. I'm watching YouTube. Okay. And guys in the comments, who's blurry?
So here's the thing about the cotter pins, right? And so chime in if you got that nut from coming off. You need a new tool to put the nut on.
Wait, what? I heard something about a new tool to put a nut on. Huh. Okay, we definitely blanked out. I don't know what's going on. YouTube Live seems
to be disappeared. Is it me that's cutting out? I think it is, huh?
Yeah, because the channel just disappeared. Like I think we're not on live anymore because YouTube is not showing nothing right now.
Oh, Tone's frozen. Okay, it's me. All right.
Thank you, Warren Richards,
See it.
for your
So
royalty.
here's the thing. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't cut out again.
Tone's
So
frozen. Yeah.
if you put a nut on something and your cotter pin is saving that nut from coming off, you need a new gun. Because that cotter pin should not be saving the nut.
I guess so. We need a new torque wrench.
Torque wrench. You torque those? That's cool.
I torque everything.
What? Bro, come on, man. You don't torque tie rod.
Everything. I torque
Why?
not tie
Why?
rods. Oh, like
That's
the
a-
nut? Yeah, of course.
Why would you
Absolutely.
torque a tie rod nut?
You can't torque that, man. The hell, it's not gonna line up properly. You're not gonna get the little castle nuts to line in to put a cotter pin. I was just kidding. But I torque about like 80% of what I touch.
You for real gonna
I can't hear you. Freezing. Reload. Promise. Torque 80% of everything. See, things I don't torque.
What?
Maybe like tie rods with a castle nut. If it has a castle nut. If it's a locking nut, I'll run it down with the impact, get the torque wrench, make sure it's in specs. Loctite. I use a Loctite. Certain engine mounts, like maybe like a side engine mount that bolts onto the frame, just fucking impacted. I mean, they're not that tight, usually like 30, 40 foot-pounds. I torque shocks, struts, caliper brackets, calipers themselves.
So
Got to refresh or something. Internet's.
So
Maybe it's me. Maybe I should like leave the studio and then come back. Maybe cut it off and then I would reload it. Just send me a link again or something. I'll text you.
Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm sorry. Let me get Dazeni in here real quick. Having some issues, so I went and did a let me message him real quick. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. All right. Can you guys hear me now? Is anybody here? Not quite sure what's going on here. Let me see. Okay. So, all right. Can you guys hear me? All right, here we go. Dazeni's back.
We
All
back
right.
black.
Okay. I had to make a mobile hotspot. Sorry about that, guys. All of a sudden my internet went kaput. But anyways,
Went haywire.
so you torque tie rods?
No. If it's a locky nut, yeah, I'll do it. But if it's a cast nut, no, I won't do it. Can't.
But if it's a locking nut, you will? A tie rod?
Like if it's a locky nut, I'll run it down. So say like, I mean tie rods. I mean they're usually about 35. I've seen some maybe 60 foot-pounds.
You know, I've
Impact's
never
gonna
seen
be
a torque on a tie rod before.
a what? On some they have it, some they don't. Like sometimes even caliper brackets don't even have torque specs. So it's just like
No, I've never seen the torque for a tie rod ever.
I'm gonna send you one on Monday.
I've never torqued the tie rod ever, is what I was trying to say. Ever.
I've
So,
never seen a torque wrench on a.
so you want to know how I learned? Here's how I learned about torque and tightening and things like that. All right. If you are tightening down anything that is suspension or anything that has a cotter pin, and you are not quite there where it doesn't line up, you never, ever, ever back it off.
You
You always go in the forward rotation until it lines up. Okay. If you're ever doing a floating bearing, you always go backwards.
I was saying unless it's on a hub bearing like forwards for you.
I'm talking about where there's a cotter pin. I'm talking about where there's a cotter pin.
Yeah, there's cotter pins.
Yeah, you always go backwards.
Yeah, go back.
This is how I was taught. It's how I was taught. But I also was taught to use a pair of channel locks and put it in my hand. And so the channel locks are, I don't know how to show this, but it's not going to work. But anyways, you hold the channel locks in your hand. So both of the things are like this, right? So you're holding the very end of the channel locks. And you hold down the nut and you turn it. And when you can't turn it anymore, that's when you put the cotter pin in.
He's like, oh nope, yep, tight, not going nowhere.
You don't want any leverage. Well, no, first while you're rotating the bearing, the rotor,
press it in,
you tighten it down, and you tighten it. You keep turning, and you tighten it until
make sure it's seated.
And then you back it off, and then you hold the channel locks until it goes, and you can't turn it anymore, and your hands are slipping off the channel lock, and you know at that point it's tight, and you back it off if you need to. But you never hold anything down low. Because then you have leverage. You don't want leverage when you're doing a floating bearing. But anyways. I only torque engine stuff.
Engine stuff? Okay, I won't torque an alternator, AC bracket. You know, I'm not going to torque that shit.
But why would you torque a tie rod? I'm just curious.
Only if it's like a locky nut, you know? Just make sure.
Do you know that most steering and suspension, actually, I'll pretty much say it, motor mount, steering and suspension, all that stuff, it is all, the manufacturers don't tell you this because they don't want to let out the secret. But it is actually all the same origin. It is all German, the torque spec, for all that stuff. Tie rods, ball joints, engine mounts, transmission to engine, all that stuff, okay? Come up and say hi. It is all a German torque spec, but they can't put it in writing. It is. You want to know what it is?
What?
Gudentight. That's it, right? Hey, you take your gun when you're... Hey, so a long time ago when I was learning, I was working at a shop. I was hourly, and before I went to the flat rate shop, and I was like the other guy that'd been there for a long time. I was like, hey man, like, do you torque like a flex plate? And he's like, yeah, I do. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And I mean, I went to school. Like, I was going to school while I was working there, right? And I was like, he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you do this torque spec. He's like, man, but it's a real fine calculation. Like, man, well, okay, what is it? He goes, it's good and tight. But
That's
you know what's
funny.
funny is I've seen engines come from Jasper and things like that, and they actually some, not all, some engines come with a disclaimer saying, "Do not gun the flex plate on
Yeah, do not impact the
because
flex
you
plate
can't
bolts
crack the
or
crank."
crack the kink. Yeah, I've seen that.
Am I back again? This is
You
pissing me
back?
off.
Okay, so I know we were talking about like you had
Sorry,
mentioned something about
stupid
the guy
internet.
leaving a radiator, leaving a plug in a radiator hose. You know, engines overheating. Okay, so this shot, man, like, uh, I don't want to mention names, but there's guys there that are they're pretty bad, from stories I've been told. It's like today
What
we were
shop? What
talking about
shop? I froze out. Sorry.
the one I'm working on right now, like the word
Okay.
the shop I work at now. Um, Lube Tech guy caught a Tacoma on fire.
Well, you've been there.
No, not while I've been there, but they were telling me about it today, and I was just
Wow.
like, okay, so he was doing an oil change, and um, this is a Toyota, the V6. You know how they have the oil filter on top, and like if you don't put something to catch the oil, it's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
leak all over the bottom. Well, he let it go and also made a big old mess, right? Instead of lowering the lift, you know, to get the brake. Okay, so at the shop, we don't have brake clean cans. We have a big old barrel and a blowgun, like to spray the fluid.
Right.
So instead of lowering the car down, you know, brake cleaning from the top, you know, the car's like halfway. He's a tall guy too. He's a tall kid, so he gets it right, and he just goes up top. He's just spraying, you know, he has the arms reached out and just spraying like crazy, right? And
Uh,
and he touches the he makes the battery cables like contact, and it sparks, and it just
oh shit.
lights up everything, and then there's oil dripped all on the bottom that he didn't clean, so that catches fire, and it's just like,
Oh my god.
and the customer was like watching his car and everything.
Oh my god. The customer was watching it.
Yeah, because the
Holy
customer was there like seeing it
Jesus,
happen. They're just like, whoa. You know, so
man.
there's some stories I've heard, you know, that's from a couple guys that do work at the shop. So you know, it's funny, man. I've never, you know, well, I can't say never now. 5 years, you know, that I've been doing this, I've never ever broken a radiator, right? Never broken a radiator, never pierced one, never messed up anything with the
You never
radiator.
leaned on a nipple and broke it off?
No, never, right? So I'm here at this lab. We're talking about
Man,
Josie, the kid that
what
started
the
the
hell's wrong
fire.
with you?
We were talking about it, and they were talking about like that. It was like he was breaking a radiator every week, man. Like they had to like keep him away from anything that had to
Oh my
do
god.
with him being by a radiator. And I was like, damn, I was like, that's the one thing I've actually never broke. I've never broke a radiator. Tell me why fucking yesterday I broke a radiator on a fucking 17-year-old Nissan Titan. I don't even know how I broke it. Little nipple for the overflow tank.
You broke a
So
radiator yesterday?
yeah. I was like,
Because you
man, I
said
shouldn't
that.
have. Yeah, I was like, I shouldn't have said
I
shit.
broke a couple. I broke
Two other good
I had
days,
a
but
6 liter one time. I work on 6 liters all the time. And on the upper radiator hose, on the driver's side of it is the nipple that goes to the degas bottle. And I had one that I was doing some work on, and I must have put my hands on the radiator to get off the truck, and I broke the nipple off.
$400
And then I had a
radiator.
6.7. I had a 6.7 that I was doing a water pump on, and I was trying to get the bottom fan shroud off. I was just trying to get it out of the way. You don't have to take it off, but I was just trying.
Makes it nice and
And
easy. Just take it out.
yeah, but don't do it. Don't take it off. Because I have my radiator hook pick, and I was trying to get the fan shroud out, and then it slipped and it went right through the radiator. And then all of a
Oh,
sudden I had coolant on the ground. I was like, God damn it. Yeah, so just leave that lower fan shroud's not supposed to come off. It doesn't come off.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the lower part. The lower
Yeah,
part.
the lower part. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Just
okay.
leave it there. Don't take it off. It just you can just push it out of the way. It's a pain in the ass, but you don't have to take it off. But yeah, you'll
Do you
break it really
torque?
better.
Okay, oil drain plugs. The only ones that actually torque, and I'm being honest, are the ones that say are the fucking Chevy Cruze where they have a little 10 millimeter nut head, or I torque oil filters. The cartridges like a Toyota or
Wait,
like
you torque what?
oil filters, the ones with the caps. I torque those, and the only
Why?
drain plug I've torqued is like Chevy Cruze where they got a little 10 millimeter head. And it's like 10 Newton meters, 14 Newton meters. Like it's not
Oh,
tight at all. Aluminum pan or that head will strip. So
I torqued the drain plug once. It was because a customer requested that I check
requested
the torque of it because he thought
per
that somebody had stripped out this drain plug. And so
per
yeah, so
customer
I torqued
request.
that one, but no, I don't torque drain plugs.
I don't torque drain
I've
plugs.
never
Only
torqued an oil
only on the
filter.
Chevy
But
on
I
the
do torque
Chevys.
everything engine.
Oil filters,
Today
if
I
it
torqued,
has a cap, I will.
and uh, you'll see it
Feel
in my video that I'm putting out pretty soon. Am I cutting in and out again? God damn it!
a little bit, not too bad. Fuel filters, I don't torque.
Um,
Just like on diesels, just that's why I said 80% of stuff.
I torque engine
Especially
stuff. I torque anything that has coolant going through it or intake manifolds. I always torque them.
intake manifolds, I always torque. Anything plastic, torqued.
Yeah, because I can
Oh,
break them easy. I can break it with a hand ratchet easy.
that kind of surprised me. I had that.
105 inch pounds is nothing.
No, it's not. I don't think that's.
Nope.
It's a little over 10 Newton meters. So I think
I
2
don't know.
Newton meters is
I don't.
89 inch
I don't do
pounds.
anything in Newton meters.
You do everything in inch pounds.
Everything in
I
inch
think
and you know what
when
I
I
did
look at
today though. Have you
what
have
I
you
mean,
have you do you work on many Subarus?
last Subaru I worked on was probably the one I did the short block on like a year and a half ago.
So I've done a lot of heads and timing belts on Subarus, like a lot. Like I've probably pulled heads on 20 to 25 Subarus, right? In my time. Like a lot. I've had like 2 times where I had 2 Subarus with heads off at the same time. So I've done a
Fastest hands
lot
on
of
the
Subarus.
east west coast.
Yeah, there's just a lot of Subarus. But anyways, so Subarus have an aluminum block. And I saw one it was several years ago, but it came in and the motor was fried. It was messed up. I don't remember I think it was frozen. And we pulled back the timing cover and it looked like the bolt on the tensioner had stripped the threads out.
Ooh.
So today in my video, I showed that it's probably a good idea to torque all of the components on the front of a Subaru, because if you don't torque them properly, then they're going to be too loose. And
Did
if
you
you
have
over torque them, it's aluminum and you're fucked.
Did
Or
you have
you're
Mr.
screwed.
Subaru
Sorry, I'm
coming
trying
over
not to
there
do
and blasting you?
that. Yeah, so it's the first time I've ever torqued components on a timing belt engine, except for the water pump. I always torque the water pump.
Okay, I was gonna say, you know what I have seen though on I've done a handful of Subaru timing belts. And 3 of them has happened to me. And honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, it's probably been like the last 3 where the water pump it's been the same bolt every time. Where the water pump bolt, when I take it out, it pulls the fucking threads with it. So I gotta
Really?
put a helicoil, yeah.
On
It's
a
been the same
2.5?
bolt. I don't know. I think it's the 2.5. It's a
Well, it's
single
gotta
overhead
be.
cam.
It's
Single
got to
overhead,
be.
not the dual overhead.
It's a single cam engine, yeah. Because otherwise, it's the dual cam or it's a. But
Little water pump.
the 2.5 can still be a dual overhead cam, but
Well, it's never
it's a
been on a
single
dual
cam.
overhead cam engine. It's been a single.
I've
But
never seen that before. That's crazy.
and I was like, this has got to be a common problem, because I was like, how is 3 in the exact same bolt backing out? Coming off, not
Are you
going
sure you're
in.
not putting your ratchet on the wrong way first? Like you're going, I'm just kidding.
Putting it on.
Yeah, you're like tight, and then loose.
Dude,
Oh,
you got You got me the other day with the torque converter, and I was like, shit, do I look like an idiot?
Oh, that's
Oh
funny.
shit! I was like, wait, I put locked engine. I'm not gonna lie, because I've actually did that before on my on the Camaro, probably like my first engine pull ever. Before I was even a mechanic, I pulled the fucking converter out with the
I've
engine.
had to a couple times, but not because dude, I had one time where the torque converter was just stuck in the crank. Like it was unbolted, but it was stuck in the crank. It was a Ford Escort.
Oh really?
Yeah, or
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
Escort, I think. It
that
was a
happened with
while
the
ago.
Ford Ranger.
It
The
had
Ford
dropped the valve
Ranger.
seat, so
Uh the Ford Ranger I did, the 2019
yeah.
freaking converter, like the converter was stuck in the engine, man. It was stuck
Mm.
in the crank. Pulled
Yeah,
out with
same
it,
thing.
and
The snout
then
was
it had
stuck.
had to pull the transmission down because it was hard to get in. Because the crankset was way different. I mean, it's a 2019, and I was like, well, I'm gonna replace the converter seal because I'm not gonna chance it, right? Stupid thing. They put a fucking plastic transmission pan. Like, really? Transmission pan in a vehicle that's plastic transmission pan in a vehicle that's supposed to be meant for off roading
Oh
makes
no!
makes
Did you
zero
break
sense,
the
right?
pan too?
Yeah.
Oh, because you jacked it up by the pan.
Yeah, I mean, okay, and it was a hairline. It wasn't even like it was a hairline crack, man. It was just
Oh
like
man, that
I
sucks.
was like, crap. And luckily, the pan was pretty cheap. It was like $80. So I was like,
So here you
get
go,
a new
right here. So
pan.
this happened to me a long time ago, setting cars on fire. So I've actually set a few on fire. One of them was this exact same situation right here, right? So I had a Nissan, a four-cylinder Nissan, and I'm checking it for an intake leak, and I've got the car all the way up on the highest it can go on the rack, and I'm spraying brake clean under the intake manifold, and it catches on fire, and I froze and I freaked out over there. Oh my god! Oh my god! I wasn't even flat rate yet, right? I was still hourly. And so luckily another guy got the fire extinguisher, put it out. And then, but the worst one was I had a Vanagon. Do you know what that is?
A what?
A Vanagon, a Volkswagen Vanagon?
No.
Okay. So it's an older Volkswagen where the engine's in the back, right? It's a
Okay.
Volkswagen van.
Okay. Like
So
those
the
nice
engine's in the
hippie
back, right?
vans.
And it came in for like it came in for smog, but it came in for it wasn't running right. And it wouldn't start. And so I suspected I had a leak in injector. And so I pulled all the plug wires out, off all the spark plugs, so it wouldn't start, right? And I hooked them up on stuff so they were just up, right? And I took the injectors out, so the injectors were out of the engine, and the plug wires were hanging up here, right? And so we crank it over. Well, I mean, who would have thought that an old ass van would do like this when it was cranking? And then the plug wire fell down, sparked, fuel shot, and it just so happened it was the one that had the bad injector, and then it caught on fire, right? So we had to put it out, replace the injector, everything was fine. Then the customer picked up their van and they're like, "My engine catch on fire?" Because we didn't get all the retardant off of it. But yeah,
uh,
kind of
you
stupid.
know,
I
it's
got a couple
funny.
more comments here. Hang on one second. Yep. See, yep. Ha ha ha. Yeah, it was exciting. I never
Timing
have
chain on
threads.
2014 15 Cadillac.
Yeah, I've never had that either, Warner. I've never seen threads come out of a water pump bolt on that ever. On a 14, 15 kind of tensioner bolts, we're
Is that
backing
the
out. Oh
2.5
wow.
engine or 2.0, the four cylinder? Or are
In
you
a
talking like
Cadillac?
3.6? Yeah.
I didn't think Cadillacs had four-cylinder engines.
Yeah, the ATS or CTS. That's a four cylinder turbo.
Oh really?
I did.
I've never
Yeah,
seen one of those.
I had one. It was like a 2015 too, 2014 something like that. And dude, I was like tripping out because like it ended up being blown head gasket. I did a water pump, right? And I like to call myself the surface prep god because I make that shit immaculate.
Right.
Um, Torqued it and everything. It was running and stuff, and then the water pump starts leaking. I'm like, what the hell? So there I go again, taking it back off. I'm like, what the heck? I was like, it's got to be the gasket or something's wrong with this gasket. And it's a metal gasket. So I was like, why is it leaking? Go back, and this time I didn't even torque it. I, did it by hand. Went over, again running. So the thermostat's open and it starts leaking again. I'm like, what the heck? It's 2.0.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So the 4-cylinder. And I couldn't figure out why it was leaking. And then I ended up I was like, it's gotta be building too much pressure to be coming out. I was like, that's the only logical thing I could think of. Like, there's no way. Block tested, sure enough, failed. So I was like, yeah, this thing needs an engine. But yeah, so new shop's good, man. I'm liking it so far. Definitely a pay raise and then extents. I actually thought I was taking a pay cut essentially, but I'm actually making a lot more money
That's
um,
good.
than I was, and it's only Monday through Friday, so
Is the
that's a
shop
plus too.
all? Is it all salary, or do some people earn flat
Well,
rate?
as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, everyone's salary,
Wow, that's crazy. I can't even imagine.
and there's six of well, there was six of us. There's five now.
So in California,
So
most shops here, actually every shop that I've ever worked at, back in the day, they were all flat rate. And in California, you can't have flat rate anymore. Um, and so now it is like, it's kind of like California flat rate where you have like an hourly rate, which is your minimum wage, basically. What they're going to pay you as a minimum wage, not minimum wage. Because in
mhm.
California, minimum wage is like $14 an hour, I think.
14.25.
Something like that. And if you have your own tools, if you're required to have your own tools to work, it's double. So $28 an hour is minimum wage in
Minimum.
California for a mechanic that
Damn.
has their own tools. So you're making $28 an hour if you roll in with a toolbox, right? But now, I mean, I'll grant it, you're,
Cost of living is
a house
different.
where you live, is going to cost 500,000 here. It's going to cost you 100,000 there. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
crazy
cost of living is
how
different.
much
Yeah.
more it costs to live here. But and drive too, because gas is outrageous. But um,
Yeah, I'm not trying to complain about gas, 'cause I'm only paying like 3.20. So
yeah, we're like $7 a gallon right here. So
swear
and
you're at
that's
7
and
right
that's
now.
almost 7. That's regular too. That's not even premium. And my poor son, he's 20. He's 20 and he drives an Infiniti G37. So he's got to have premium gas, and
93
that's
octane.
that's way higher. But
Okay, that's a good question. What is the shop rates in California? Because I've messaged a couple guys and it's literally like the same rate here, and I'm like, bro, what?
so in California, most shops
Good question, Warner.
don't have a straight hourly rate because the
Things are
hourly rate
different.
is different, right? If you're a check engine light is an hour and it's going to cost this much, right? But if it's R&R, it might be a different shop rate. So
A
I'm not
fixed
quite
rate.
sure, but I mean, I think most like a lot of shop rate. I mean, what is your shop? 150, one or more, 175. I'm not sure. I don't even know what
So
our
like,
shop rate is. I don't see dollar. I don't see dollar signs. I only
mm,
see hours. That's all I see. Like when a ticket comes through, I only see hours,
that's crazy. I guess
and
I don't
I
know.
only hear dollar signs when a service writer's bragging about a job that they sold.
Or feeding techs all the gravy,
Yeah. So
and you have to
what do
fix
you
their fuck
guys? What's
ups.
your hourly rate?
So at my
Yeah.
old shop, so it's different. So if we have European rates. So if you got a euro, that's a separate rate. We have diesels. Diesels are a different rate, and then you have gasoline engines. And then like for like gravy jobs, like um, say like an engine, right? So say engine labor was 120 an hour per job, but if it was brakes or like suspension work, tune ups, labor rates probably like 85 to 100 an hour,
Holy
because it's
crap! Really?
yeah, because I guess in a sense it's like how am I gonna tell a customer, hey, okay, we're gonna do a tune up on your 4-cylinder spark plug. It's gonna cost you, if we charge them $100, they'll rather go pay some Mexican at a tire shop $30 to change the spark plugs and you lose the job.
So I
So
guess that depends on the quality of the shop too, because like we are, and I'm not saying anything about where you work or anything like that, but around here there's a lot of shops that are lower quality that don't offer the same warranty, that don't take care of the customers, things like that. Um, So our shop rate is a lot more, and we're not going to be $80 an hour because engines actually suck because you can't mark up an engine like you can control arms, right?
Yeah.
You get control arms. Let's say the shop pays like
Two
I don't
hundred
know
bucks.
$200. They're selling them for $400, right? And then that's just the part, and then you have the labor. Well, you're not going to sell an engine at that markup. So,
Yeah.
everything has a different markup.
See, I think
Engines,
that's
transmissions, differentials, all those big jobs, they don't have a big markup. Now, timing chains, things like that's a different story. But when
see
you're
I
talking about a big part like that, the
you
markup is
can't
not.
you can't mark it up. But that's not even just that. Like even like a steering rack, bro. Okay, so before I left my old shop, we had a Jeep Cherokee needed a steering rack, electric steering rack, right? A used from a junkyard was $1,200,
Right.
and a brand new one I think was only like 16. But there's no new ones in stock.
Right.
They're on intergalactic back order, so it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
you
Forever.
know, um, so like there's certain things, but in a sense of like shop sense, like I think when it comes to like heavy line work, like doing engine jobs, I think shops eventually in the long run they lose out on money because it's such a big job. You don't know what's needed. Things break. Versus like when you're doing gravy, I think that's kind of like the money
Well, of
for the
course.
shop to fix, to I guess keep the shop afloat in a way of sense. That's the money they use to because you in the long run you lose money on big jobs. That's just the way it
You
is.
absolutely. If you break even, you're lucky.
Yeah,
And the other thing you have to think about is like you take an engine job, right? Let's say it's I don't know, an 8. See, when we do used engine jobs, we sell it as a long block. And that covers if we have to tear the engine apart and reseal it, that covers that. Now, if you get a good used engine, then you can make some good money because you're not having to tear it down to a long block.
reseller. Yeah,
Um, but I mean, generally, engines are like if you break even on an engine, you're lucky. Engines, generally, you're going to break even on.
Not-
Transmissions, maybe you make a little bit of extra money. And what I mean by that is like, let's say a tranny pays 7 hours.
you could do it in
Maybe you get
5,
done in
6.
6 hours, right? But by the time you road test it and everything else and QC it, and I mean, okay, so 6 hours on the tranny maybe. But an engine, you have an 18-hour engine job, and if you
So
get done in 17 hours, you're lucky.
shit, more
So,
yeah,
but you have to think about it like this: you're tied up now for 17 hours to make
almost
an 18-hour job done, right? You could have done 3
10 brake
control arm
jobs.
jobs. Exactly.
Yeah, I
So,
guess
I mean, that's how you have to look at it.
that's the downfall of it too. Because like especially if it's something never done, like it's such a big job. It's like you do not want to do it again. So it's like I'm gonna make sure. Hey, is this right? Is this right? Like most of the time you're eating your lunch,
Right.
dude. And
Oh yeah.
it's just the way it is. And it's funny that you talk about how you're talking about quality test driving. Throw a transmission, test drive, quality check stuff. My old boss told me before I left because we were kind of getting into it because he was pretty mad that I was leaving. Um, he's like, you're good. But you waste a lot of time. He's like, and it's not a bad thing. But you sit there, you do your repairs, then you go on a long test drive, you come back, you double check all your work, you check this, you check this. And you're wasting a lot of time. And I was just like, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Like, you're not paying me hourly. Like, I'm making my own check, and I was just like, because he ended up coming about the best. He's like, you only average about 30 hours, you waste a lot
I
of
remember you
time.
telling me that.
And I was just like, what do you want? You want quality work that you're not gonna come back, or you want me to just hang these parts and park it up front? If it comes back, well, you gotta pay me to do it again. You know what I mean? So
So
I don't
here's
know.
my advice, and you can take it. You can ask other guys. Get a poll out there. See what other guys think. But one thing that will save you some money, it'll save you some time and make you some more money. Suspension, steering, engine mounts, all that crap. use your 3/8 gun. 3/8 impact, zap it on. If it has a cotter pin, zap it until it's tight, until it's not really moving. And if it doesn't line up, zap it a little bit more until it lines up. Throw the cotter pin in there, you're good. You don't need to torque tie rods. You don't need to torque ball joints. You don't need to torque engine mounts. You don't need to torque any of that stuff. Whether it has a lock nut, castle nut, I don't care. Good and tight. Good and tight. Watch your gun. Hey, no, I'm for real. Watch your gun. Watch your socket. Watch the nut. You can watch the comments and ask people what they think. But you can tell when a bolt is tight. Watch your socket. It will tell you when it's tight.
Yeah, it's not going to move. I know for sure because, I mean, first year I was just using impacts. I didn't have torque wrenches, so.
But you don't need to torque all that stuff. I mean, if you want to torque it, that's fine. I'm only telling you because someone asked me in my comment in my Instagram earlier that I got to get back to them. They asked me, "Hey, I just started at a Subaru dealer, and do you have any advice on, how to make money and how to make more money and how to be more efficient?" So, all right, cool. So, I got to get back to them, but that's my advice to you is you don't need to torque tie rods. You don't need to torque ball joints. You don't need to torque engine mounts. You need to just make it tight. Make it tight, throw a cotter pin on there, and cut the tab off and say, yeah, all you cotter pin haters. No, I'm just kidding. But just you don't need to do that. You don't need to torque all that crap. As long as you use the appropriate gun. You have to remember the size of the bolt that you're torquing. If you're torquing a bolt that a 12 millimeter head bolt, you want a 3/8 gun. If you're torquing a 17 millimeter bolt, you want a 1/2-inch gun. Gun that crap on.
Nah, I use a 1/4-inch screw gun.
But I mean, so the only thing I do with brakes, I Loctite every single caliper bolt that bolts to the knuckle. The 2 mounting bolts, I always Loctite those bolts because I had one come back a long, long time ago, and the bolt had come out, and I know I tightened it, but I must have messed up. So ever since I've always Loctited those 2 bolts every single time, and then after I gun it on, I take my ratchet and I give it a. And I make sure
it's tight.
Good and tight.
Do
not just think about it like this. If you go to the computer and you look up the car and you find brakes and you find calipers,
and then
you go and you find the torque spec. Now you've spent 5 minutes trying to find the torque spec on a brake caliper bolt. Then you get your torque wrench, set it up, you go over there and you torque caliper bolt. Then you got to torque the tie rod. Yeah, you got to go and find the tie rod torque spec.
Let me put it in this terms too. Let's say, because I know you say there's like you'll have like the auto bureau over there, right?
Oh yeah.
What if they ask you, did you torque? Because I won't use lug nuts for instance. If you have a wheel off, right? From lack of, I use my impact. 3-ugga-dug is nice and tight, right? You get taken according to case. Did you use a torque wrench? No, I use my impact. They want to like, you can lie. I use my torque wrench, and then they go down. So let's see some.
Well, no, you're talking about shit falling apart. No. So you got to remember one thing. Shit's not falling apart when it leaves my rack. I make sure I tighten it and I put it on so it doesn't come off. And that's the thing you got to remember. It's not about torquing it. I mean, I don't care if you put a wheel on and that motherfucker falls off, you didn't put it on right. You can say what you want in court. I don't care. The wheel fell off. It's your fault. If you do steering work and a nut falls off the pitman arm and it falls off somehow by an act of God and the steering goes to the right and they crash, that's your fault. But you have to use just your eyeballs and your feel, right? So you're not going to be able to go on forever torquing everything. You're not going to be able to do that. I could just tell you right now, I don't care where you live, what your hourly rate is, you're going to have to learn to wean yourself off of the torque wrench. You're going to have to. at your own pace. You have to feel comfortable, right? Because you have to be able to put it on. You have to be able to tighten that
Well,
nut,
I just started
put the
torquing
cotter
things
pin
like
on,
within the
and
last two
feel
years.
what?
I just started torquing almost everything within the last 2 years, 2.5 years.
So I think that's a bad habit. I think you need to just make sure you have a good gun and that you trust yourself. Is it tight? Let me ask you this: if you took your, let's say you're doing, let's say you took a tie rod off, right, and you put it on an outer tie rod, and you tighten it down. What size gun would you use? A 3/8 or a 1/2 inch?
For which one? For what?
Outer tie rod.
3/8.
So do you think that if you zap that 3/8 gun on and put a cotter pin on, that it would fall off?
No.
Okay. So you need to trust that. You need to trust that. I want you to start Monday. And I want you to try to think about things like tie rods, ball joints, engine mounts, things like that. Now, if you're tightening into
Well, let me put it
aluminum
this:
or something,
I did a Mitsubishi Outlander. I did all 4 engine mounts. I'll tell you right now, I didn't torque any of those engine mounts. It's fucking got my
yeah,
impact.
woo!
You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, like 80% things. I think like, is this something that can come off and cause a crash? It's getting Loctite. It's getting torqued. Is this something that's gonna leak? It's getting torqued. You know what I mean?
You don't Loctite
Um,
steering and suspension stuff, do you?
just shocks and caliper bolts.
What the hell? Okay, calibrables, yeah. So I want you to try to think
Lug nuts.
about.
Every lug nut's getting torqued.
I torque lug nuts too, but I want you to try to think about steering and suspension. All right, I'm talking about tie rods, ball joints, things like that. I want you to think about it. All right, I want you to tighten it down where you think it's tight. Like you're like that shit is done, it's done, tight. And if you want to get your torque wrench up, get your torque wrench
Snap.
up.
It's in
And
specs.
then when you go and it doesn't move. And then you have to tighten it more to put your cotter pin in. And then the next time you do the same thing. I want you to just think about it and remember and try to just remember. Remember, you're getting the feel for this stuff. It's the feel, right? Everything is the feel. Whether you're looking at a scan tool, at data when you're cranking an engine over, whether you're tightening a tie rod, whether you're putting a water pump on, whether you're tightening down the tensioner, a valve cover bolt, an exhaust manifold, it doesn't matter. Everything that we do is about feel. It's the feel, right? You have that feel. This feels like it's about to snap. If you keep going, it's going
Very
to break.
true.
You
Yeah.
knew it was going to break. I want you to just focus on that feel. This is going to help you produce more. And then eventually, your boss is going to be like, damn, dude, you can do more than I thought. You need more money per hour. And you're going to get a raise.
I
It's
feel
going
like
to
that already
benefit you. I
happened.
promise. Take it from me. If you worked next to me and I saw you torquing a tie rod, boy, we would have a problem. I'll be like, what the hell are you doing? I'm just kidding. No, I'm
Well,
just kidding.
I'm
But for real,
fast. I'm fast as fuck,
I'm trying to
boy. I'll tell
teach
you
you,
that right. I'm telling you right now, I'm
not with
fast
torque
as
and
fuck,
tie
boy.
rod. Oh, no, I
Promise
know
you.
you are. I know you. I know. I
Hold
know. You
on,
can be
I
faster.
want to get to
You
this
can be
comment.
faster.
I can be faster, that's for sure. Clint Stanley.
All right.
Okay, so I
Well,
learned.
hang
So
on.
there's
Where
no.
are you?
He says, "Well, over tiny lug nuts warp rotors."
No.
Oh,
No.
no. Essentially, well, and to answer that question in a whole, there's not, and technically, there's no such thing as a warped rotor. You have basically lateral runout. Your hubs have lateral runout. Um, the only thing I think from over tining a lug nut is you're gonna break a stud. Now they say that you can cause warped rotors. You can cause lateral runout from over tining because you have one side of the wheel, you know, more tighter than you don't have an equal force on the surface of the hub. So since that's not essentially flat, you can cause the rotor to, go like this when it's breaking, which cause lateral runout, which causes brake pulsation in theory, but there's no such thing as warped rotors.
So think about it like this: a hub has about this much area that a rotor mounts to, all the way around, right? At least this much. So there is no way in hell you can tell me that you have something that's this big
And
that tightens down to the surface, and it's going to cause this to warp out here because
that's a. I'm just saying that's the
this
theory
is
behind it.
all torque. So a long time ago, I'll tell you a funny story. My first shop, I was an hourly guy before I went to go be a flat rate guy. While I was going to school, I worked 4 hours. I went to school 4 hours a day, and then I came home and I worked 4 hours a day. All right. And every car, I'm torquing the lug nuts, right? Got my torque wrench, torquing the lug nuts. And my boss comes over, old timer guy. He's been doing this for his whole life. And he comes over, he goes, you don't really need to torque that. I was like, well, I don't want to over torque them. He goes, rotors don't warp from over torquing. Rotors warp from uneven torquing. So as long as you hit them all the same, as long as you hit them all the same, they're fine. And I was like, huh. And I thought about that, and I was like, wait a minute. This is like an old timer guy who's been doing this shit longer than I've been alive, right? And he's telling me this, and he's clearly put on a lot of damn wheels, and he owns the shop. So he wouldn't be telling me something to be like, go let a wheel fall off, right? Yeah. So I was like, huh, let me try that. So I use my ears, my feel, I didn't use a goddamn torque wrench on lug nuts for a very long time. It wasn't until I had a coworker at another shop, had a wheel fall off of a car, and the boss was like, that's it, we're torquing every lug nut. And I was like, God damn it. So
that's all it takes.
Car, I'm like, for real, I got to really torque these lug nuts? This is a pain in the ass. Can't believe I'm doing this.
It's more this.
And I'm hella mad because it's all his fault.
And I know you talk about like speed, but it's more in the sense of covering your own ass, man. It's just.
It is.
It's really, that's all it is. Covering your ass is like, hey,
I torqued it. Tie rods. That's not covering your ass.
I'm torquing power steering pumps, alternators.
What the hell, boy? You need to come out to California and work with me for like a month. You'd be like, dang.
I'm just kidding.
Right, let me hang on. I'll be right back. I gotta what?
I gotta go get a beer, so I'll be right back. That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, go ahead. So what do you guys think about twerking? And I didn't say twerking. I said torquing. Hammer it on with the different guns. Use a digital torque wrench to break it loose. But it's, yeah. Yeah, it's all about feel. This industry is all about feel. It's all about how we feel. We feel everything. Except for those bolts where you're like, maybe it's going to break, and then you like tighten it, and you're like, oh, thank God it didn't break. Wait, yeah, it warps rotors?
It doesn't warp the rotors.
No, it does not warp the rotors. You know what warps the rotors? Crappy rotors, crappy pads, crappy drivers. That's what warps rotors. I'm just telling you right now.
Hub shims. Not using hub shims causes lateral runout.
What the hell is a hub shim?
Bro, you never took brakes in steering ACs?
I never heard of hub shim.
You never heard of hub shims, for real?
Bro, I got like hella ASCs. What are you talking about?
Bro, I'm more master certified than you are. That's
I have like 12. How many you got?
I got 0, baby. You know what? Hey, you know what I got?
Wait. And I've had them for like 15 years.
You know what's funny? Oh,
wait, hold that thought. I gotta go. I'll be right back.
You can't warp a rotor. That's just the way it is. You have lateral runout. You hook up a dial indicator, you turn the rotor, you can find a low spot. Supposedly hub shims are supposed to fix those low spots because you can get a brand new rotor, fresh machine out of auto parts store, from the dealer, wherever you get your rotor from. It could have a low spot. You're supposed to check them, spin it, find the low spot, use hub shims to correct that lateral runout. Then put the brake pads, and that would prevent premature failure and uneven wear within the brake pads. All theoretical and according to a bunch of engineers and stuff. So transpans definitely get torqued. It's got a gasket, fluid. Oil pans getting torqued, especially if it's silicone. Sometimes they go a little over. I mean, anything with fluids getting torqued, anything I feel like can cause a safety hazard getting torqued, anything that can cause mechanical failure getting torqued. Like I said, I'm not torquing an alternator. I'm not torquing fucking drain plugs. Unless it's a Chevy Cruze or those Chevys that have a little fucking 10 millimeter head. I mean,
All right,
you
so
gotta
what is
be
the
under
hub shift?
tremendous. If for you to like seriously warp that rotor, like you gotta be doing like 200 miles and freaking slamming on the brakes where that rotor's fucking glowing red hot. You know, banjo boats, absolutely.
What?
Fucking turbo
Banjo
fittings,
bolt?
turbo
Two banjo
fittings, power
bolts?
power string bolts with the banjos, the little crush washers. Uh, actually, I did a
For real?
power
You
steam
flip
pump.
those?
If it's coolant on the turbos, yes. I did a power steam pump that has a banjo bolt. I didn't torque that. Just yeah, it's good and tight. I ain't putting a torque wrench down there, baby. I'll tell you that. Spark plugs. I torque spark plugs. I'll be
Hey,
honest
talking about
there.
a power steering pump, I want to tell you a story. So I had a coworker, he was doing a Hyundai. And the power steering pump, when the banjo bolt that goes through the pressure line into the power steering pump, I'm gonna tell you right now, is tight as hell, right?
Fucking tight.
It's tight. It is good and tight, right? From the factory, it is on there. My coworker could not get anything. He's got his ratchet up like this and bent like that, right? As soon as he starts to turn it, it pops off, right? He couldn't get it off. Every tool he owned, he couldn't get it off. You know what he did? My Capri flex head half-inch impact with a shallow socket fit right up there on the back of the power steering pump, and broke it loose, and then he was able to reach up there and unthread it.
Dude, I gotta
Swear to
give me
God,
one of them. I gotta give me one of those flex heads, man.
dude, I'm telling you, that thing is bad. Hey, so my coworker, he was like, when I got the Capri, I was like, dude, this thing is bad ass. And he bought one from Matco like the week before, but it was on back order, right? So I'm like, dude, this thing is awesome. Look, I got it. It's awesome. It's in my hand. And so
Yep.
a little while later, he's like, oh man, I found the Astro one, and the Astro one is the same. It says it's the same. It's 400 foot-pounds, 400 foot-pounds, right? He's going through the torque span. I'm like, great, that's awesome. Congratulations. Your handle sucks, but hey, my handle's awesome. Whatever. It is what it is. And then one day he goes, hey man, I got this balancer bolt. It won't come off this Toyota with my Astro gun. You want to see if your Capri gun will get it off? I was like, all right, cool. Same socket, same air hose, same everything. Came right off.
Snap.
There you go. You can
Damn
say
it, boy.
whatever you want about torque specs, but the Astro gun is not the same as the Capri gun. It is not the same.
The Capri looks nicer. I'll tell you that.
The Capri gun puts out way more torque.
Warner,
What?
I wish I understood this. Maybe you talk too cool for me, Warner. Live by a 15% or live by a 15 miles, 6% grade. You'll see work orders. Not sure what you mean by that, but
I think fifth. Oh no, it's so.
uh-oh, we spaced out. Mountains.
This.
We talking Rust Belt?
It's
Okay.
Oh man. All right, are we back now? Sorry, guys.
Thanks, Obama.
So it's mountains. It's the percentage of the mountain, and it's the percentage of the. So he's saying in a 15-mile span, there's a 6% grade.
Gotcha.
So you're using your brakes a lot more. So we have, like, if you go down to LA, it's the Grapevine. And if you have any
But
sort
is
of
it
a
actually
slight
warped or is it
issue with
just
your brakes, what? No, it's because of heat. Because you're on the brakes. So some people will be like,
constantly?
and then like me, I know how brakes work, so I go down grades like this: brake, 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 and I
Gotcha.
ease the brakes so I'm not superheating it because I don't want to have to
Checking.
replace them. You know,
Gotcha. And heavy load.
but
I guess, but it's
that's what that
also
means.
that's my statement stands. Like I was like, you had to get it like super hot, you
Yeah,
know.
heat is what warps a rotor. But here you go. So this is interesting. So and Warner, I do the same thing. So I torque anything that has fluid going through it. Um, I torque water pumps, transpans, uh, oil pans, anything that has fluid running through it. Intake manifolds, definitely anything plastic. But yeah, I do torque all of that. I
You
don't
know what
torque
I
anything steering, suspension, shocks, struts. Um, I don't torque anything like that at all whatsoever. Not even a little bit. I wouldn't
I
actually
don't
even think about it.
I don't torque the strut mount. Like say instead of doing a whole assembly, with the strut and the spring
Yeah.
and just replacing the shock. I don't torque that. The I don't.
Yay!
All right, it's good. Let's go.
Hey, so try something though, for real. I'm serious with the steering and suspension, tie rods, things like that. I want you to try to torque it down, tighten it down with your gun. I mean, hit it good and tight. Where all you have to do is move it a little bit more to put the cotter pin in. Get your torque wrench out and see that it doesn't move. And I want you to try to trust yourself. It's all about trusting.
Okay, so it's funny you say that because like I said, I didn't start torquing everything until about like 2.5 years ago. And when I first started out, I didn't have torque wrenches. So like when I was doing like transmissions like on a weekly basis, um, flex plates were getting used with the MG325 snap on in the middle setting, brr, 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 Loctite, it's good. Um, but the thing is, like when I got my electric impact, I felt like it was stronger, and I was like, I don't want to break this bolt, so I was like, I'll zap it on, hold the flex plate, flywheel, torque it down, and then go from there. But it's like when I bolt down the transmission bell housing, I'm not torquing bell housing bolts. You know what I mean? Just fucking
Right.
send it. Let's
Yeah, I don't
go.
use an electric. I don't have an electric. I don't have an electric half-inch gun.
Mm.
I just can't. I just can't justify spending the money on something like that. Plus, I trust. I know my air guns, and I know what they do and how much.
Technically, Warner, you're supposed to shim every brake job, any rotor, because
Well, I don't understand that. Wait, hang on. Go
it's
back because I missed that with my
okay.
wagon.
Oh yeah, you like that. So basically, it's because he asked I think they asked something about hub. I
You
don't
said
remember.
what
We
is a
said,
caliper shim or something like that?
oh yeah, because you said you never heard of hub shim. So basically, hub shim is like so. Hub shim is to fix lateral runout to stop premature uneven brake pad wear and brake pulsation. So on the hub shims, if you get it, because even a brand new machine rotor from whatever parts store you get can have lateral runout. So you're supposed
Right.
to put the rotor on, put the dial indicator, find the low spot, mark it. You do the step, pull it off, find the shim, thin little shim, put it on, measure it. Okay, now it's good.
Oh,
You
Jesus Christ. So you're basically balancing a rotor. That's stupid.
yeah, to prevent it.
Okay.
What I'm
That's
saying.
yeah.
But you're
Yeah.
supposed to do it on
Okay.
new rotors, old
I
rotors,
understand. I understand how
anytime.
that is. So
But it's
basically
also
what they're saying is that you are essentially making the hub mounting point of the rotor. You're
flush.
making yeah, okay. I understand what that means. That's stupid, but okay. So that must be the new ASE thing.
No,
You
it's
just
been
learned that in the book?
no, it's old, man. I learned that
Where the
back
hell
in
did you
tech
learn that? I've
school.
never heard that in my
I learned
life.
that back in tech school, man.
Oh,
Like
that's
6 years
you mean
ago.
in Texas school? Because I never heard that before.
I think even
I'm just kidding.
Napa has an old ass video about it, like freaking something like it's old video. It's been around.
I'm gonna ask
Um,
my service manager. He's been doing this longer than me. I'm be like, hey Charlie,
do you know
what's
what
a
a hub
hub
shim?
shim? And he's either gonna say, "Oh, that's this thing we used to use," or he's gonna be like,
What the
"Get
hell is
the
that?
hell out of here!" And then I'm gonna have to message you.
I guess I've never seen anyone do it. You know what's funny? I personally haven't seen anyone do it. I've never used them. You know, that's by the book. But I remember one time Dennis had posted a story and some guy was giving him shit because he's like, "Wow, you don't use hub shims when you do brake jobs." And I was just like, "Bro, what?"
You
I was
put
like,
dial indicators on brand new brakes? What the hell?
and but that's also too like when cleaning the hubs, you're supposed to clean the hubs, you
Yeah,
know,
I
and the
see
back of
people
the
do that. I
rotors
don't
to
ever do
make
that.
sure.
I don't
I
even
do
own
it.
that tool.
I clean everything.
It's cute when you guys do that. I just think, man, if you guys only knew that you don't have to do all that crap, but it's okay. It looks cute.
It looks cute. It's nice and clean and flushed.
It makes for good Instagram stories. What does it do though? Like, I mean, really?
It's supposed to keep it flushed. You can have an uneven surface of rust buildup. I learned that back at Discount Tire before I even became a tech.
Really?
We had to clean all the hubs, we had to clean all the wheels, put them on, torque the wheels.
I've never seen one person ever in my whole career in like 17 years
Okay, but let me
ever
put it this way: do you
even
even
own
see
that tool
rusty
or use it
things?
once.
Do you even see rust?
I mean, sometimes, probably not as much. Well, you guys see rusty
I
stuff
don't
in
see.
Texas?
I see rust. I just had
I mean, I know in
to,
southern, like in the East Coast and all that crap, you know.
we do get cars from up north. Like today, I had
Like Dennis lives in
oh
LA,
dude
and when he does it, I'm just like, bro, like you live in LA. It's like it's the same as
uh
here. Like I don't
I had a
understand.
brake caliper job today, bro, and tell me why it was like it's just a brake caliper. Tell me why I spent like 2 hours doing this caliper job.
Well, you're
Just because
special, but
like
I mean, I wasn't going to say that out loud.
but it was just like it ended up turning like
What
I was like,
happened?
give me I don't someone had already been in here, everything was all rusted, and you
Is
know,
there
I pull off the
hourly?
huh? What was that?
Nothing. Not lagging.
Uh so like right, I pull it off and it's it's one of those brake lines where it's not like a bolt on it, like the whole hose twists into the caliper. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
like a stupid ass Mercedes. Yeah, sprinters
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. So
Yeah,
right, so it's
I'm
one of
very
those, right?
familiar with that.
So usually what I do is like, you know, I'll unbolt the caliper, I'll twist it all the way, and I'll make sure it's tight, and then or sometimes I'll put it like tight, and then I'll break it loose just like a hair, put it on, and then I'll tighten it. And this one, man, every time it would the cable the hose would twist, you know, it would bind up. I'm like shit. So it's like okay, I gotta break it from the actual brake line. So when I tighten it, it twists and it's still free. Whoever and you could tell someone had already been in here and stuff. We got zip ties holding the brake line to the bracket and a freaking horseshoe washer instead of the actual mounting clip to hold the brake hose in place was there. And I'm having a hard time backing out this freaking brake line. I couldn't, and once I got it all the way out, it didn't want to come out, man. Like it didn't want to come out of that hose, and I'm over there beating it, trying to tap it out. I was like, Mark, I was like, dude, I was like, this shit's pissing me off. And he's like, well, hold it. And he got some vice grips and hit it with the hammer, and finally fucking pops out. Then I had to
Oh
rethread the
my
brake
god.
line. Then we had to buy new brake hose, and it was just like, fuck, dude, like,
Oh my
a 10-minute job turned into like fucking 2 hours.
god. That sucks, dude.
And then the other day we had um we broke like so we were talking about torquing lug nuts and stuff, right? We had a Chevy we're doing a hub bearing on, rusted like a motherfucker. Um we broke like 3 or 4 adapters trying to break one of the lug nuts loose, man. And I told
Holy
my boss,
crap.
and I was like, dude, you know what? I was like, you're replacing the hub bearing anyways. I was like, just time that motherfucker until the fucking stud breaks and pull the wheel off.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
Especially if you're replacing it already, anyways.
yeah, like I didn't snap either. Like we're just trying to break it loose to pull the wheel off, and I was like, we're replacing the hub bearing anyways. Just fucking tighten it till it fucking snaps off. And but I don't really work on rust. I don't know how people in the rust belt fucking
I
enjoy.
couldn't do it.
I would not be a technician.
Nope.
I might be like Kyle, just doing diags and stuff, but you would not find me fixing cars in the Rust Belt.
No. Hell
Fuck
no.
no.
Not
Fuck
doing
no.
any R&R. No way, Jose.
Nope. You can get a new car. Here you go.
Yep. Salt on the roads is the worst.
That's why people are supposed to wash their cars, right? Like you're supposed to rinse your cars so the salt doesn't deteriorate.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, but
I don't know.
people
I
don't
don't live in
do
the
that.
Rust Belt, but I do. I've had a good amount of cars come from like New York or other places up north, and I'm like, why'd y'all move to Texas? You brought this fucking car with you? Yeah, it's crazy. But what was I guess I was gonna tell you something before you went to go get your beer, and I can't remember because then we started talking about the hub shims. So yeah, I think someone mentioned a comment or something.
What was it?
Trying to think. Oh, that's what I was gonna tell you. I was like, because we were talking about AC certifications. So it's funny, right? So at the shop I'm right now, the boss is like, we're getting rid of starting next year, we're getting rid of all non-certified technicians, right? And I'm not certified in anything. And I was telling Mark, he's like, you need to get some certifications. I was like, I got one, fool. He's like, well, what do you got? I got that fucking the little
The
card to buy
G1?
free. No, I don't. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
take the
god,
G1.
the AC one.
The
Hey,
one
that one's
that's
not even valid anymore.
the fucking to buy Freon and shit, the recover and
Yeah,
recharge.
that one's not even valid anymore. You have to actually have to get another one for the
Really?
new Freon. Yeah, you have to get one that covers the 1, 2, 3, 4. So
Ah,
the 134 one is no good anymore.
okay. Do you know how much Freon has
But
gone up? Oh, you don't see prices, right?
no.
That blows
But
my
hey, so
mind.
check
That
it out. So I've been at Harbor Freight, right? I don't go there very often, but so I've got two toolboxes. I got my Matco box and I got my Harbor Freight box that I put the lockers on, and I built like a wooden hutch,
I
with
remember you never
the
posted the
cord and
video.
all that, right?
You were
So I
supposed
mean, it
to.
looks kind of cool. Like I've done pretty well. Like it's got two like compartments up here. It's got all my books and diesel books and all that stuff in there.
Got your nudie mags.
Yeah, but I'm out of room. I'm a goddamn it. Like I have no more room. I have crap just on top of my toolbox. I'm like pissed off again. Like this sucks. When I got to the shop, I had 3 toolboxes, and I sold one and bought
Took like
lockers and built a hutch, and then now I'm out of room, and I'm just really frustrated. So I've been going to Harbor Freight, and they had this, their icon box, their triple bank icon box with these big lockers and hutch, and it looks beautiful, and it looks really nice. It's
I'm not
like
gonna lie,
all white.
they actually feel pretty good, man. Like the
Yeah,
material,
it does.
like it's definitely more durable than my Husky.
The only thing I don't like about it is that the drawers don't like pull themselves in, like snap on.
They're not self close.
Yeah, but so I'm checking out this box, and I've been looking at it for a while, and I look and look and look, and I'm like, all right, maybe I can justify this with my channel, maybe I can justify it with my YouTube. And so I go back to like really legit look at it, and I'm like, I got some Modelo right here.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. Like I've never drank Modelo, but Mexican boss and all, and being on the side, they drink it. Dude, that's crazy. Like I think I told you my second day,
You
boss
guys
came
have
up.
Modelo at the shop. I saw.
Yeah, second day, dude, boss comes up to me, hands me a fucking Modelo. He's like, "Here you go." Hands Mark a Modelo, and then he takes off, and I was like, "That's dope."
Pretty good. I like this one here, the one you had too.
Yeah, they're
White
not
Label.
bad. They're not bad.
But anyway, so I go to Harbor Freight like probably like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, and I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna go for real. I'm really thinking about this investment, right? Because
Still
it's like
expensive
I can't remember. It's like $8,000 or something like that. It's quite a bit of money.
with the hutch and everything.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of money, but it's not. It's like nothing near like what you would pay with
Snap on.
Snap.
Yeah,
And I'm
for
like, all
sure.
right, with these lockers and this box, like I should be able to get most stuff in here. I think I'll be good. So I go back to look at it. I'm like, all right, so let me for real look at this thing. All right, the hutch looks nice. Lockers look nice. Everything. This is really saucy. You know what I mean? I like it. But I'm like, wait a minute. It has these little ass drawers, and they're
Freaking
like
thin.
this damn tall, right? So I'm like, all right. On the left side, it's got small drawers, and then it's got long drawers, and then small drawers, right? Because it's triple bank. So I look, and it's got 3 drawers that are this tall. And
Now
I'm
you're
like,
putting their wrenches laying down.
what the hell are you going to put in there? Like, if you put a wrench rack in there, you couldn't close the drawer. If you put a screwdriver in there, you couldn't close the drawer. What are you going to put in there? Letters? You know what I mean? That's all you can do.
Your
And so I'm
snap-on
like,
receipts.
hang on. So that's just the left side, right? The small drawer. It's like probably that wide. So 3 drawers, little tiny drawers. And then you go to the middle section where the drawers are held long. That's all. Same thing, 3 drawers, tiny as hell, all the way across the box. You go to the other side, 3 drawers, tiny as hell. What the hell is this? What are you going to put in here? Paper? Look, for real, you couldn't even put a wrench rack in there.
No,
And even if you did, do you have that many wrenches that you have to put them in like 3, 6, 8 drawers? No. So anyway, so that ruined that idea.
You know what you should look into? And I have a buddy. Maybe I can have him send me pictures so I can send you his setup.
What?
This is what I thought about buying before I actually bought my Husky. It was just out of my price range at the time. Look into Extreme Tools. Toolboxes.
Extreme Tools?
You can get double locker, a hutch, a triple bank, or even tool vault for like $5,000, dude. Double locker, hutch, triple bank. Big, nice boxes. You can choose different color schemes. You can choose black and red, blue and red, black and blue. Like they have different two-tone color schemes, but they're super nice boxes, man, and really nice. And that's honestly like when I upgrade, I'd probably invest into like Extreme Tools or a Tool Vault toolbox. I got the Husky because it's $1,200, $1,400 after taxes and shit. I was like,
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money still, you know. And I was like, well, it's gonna take me forever to fill up this box, you know. And I'm not working out of it, like you know. And that's another thing I've had to get used to, man, because like now I only have one bay, so the rate of like working on things has changed dramatically. Because at the other shop, I had yeah, you know, I had 8 bays. I had, you know, so I put a car here, work on it, go to the next car, you know, rolling around. And now, and you know, and I'm jumping. I was used to jumping car to car, just going in a circle, you know. And now it's just like, this is your car. Whenever you're done, then you jump on the next one, you know. So it's like,
you got to learn how to get it off the rack. You got to, you know, it's
like there's been several times, you know, where I'm doing the car, like, okay, well, I gotta push it out now because I need my bay, which I never had to do that before.
Most of my career with 2 bays.
Yeah,
most of my career with 2 bays.
Most of all my career before now, I had like 4 bays. So
if you have any questions, you know, let me know. You know, I can help you learn how to make some money.
Okay,
and cut corners, and you know,
that's one
of the things. I've been doing this for a long time.
Warner's talking about like parts waiting game sucks.
It does. It does. It sucks to bring a car in. You pull the wheels off. You check it out. You're like, oh damn, it needs this. It needs that. You know, whatever. Throw the wheels on. Back that bitch out. Don't let it hurt your feelings. My neighbor gets all his feelings hurt sometimes when you have to like. Well, hang on. We got Tinder hot adult dating over here. Boy.
Yeah.
I need to block.
Hot ex-wife.
I was even looking over here. Okay.
Warner
had us some Tinder hot dating people coming in. Dang.
They're looking for Warner.
Yeah, but no, for real, like you know, you just gotta learn. You know, you pull it in, you check it out, you pull the wheels on, you put the wheels off, and you get the hell out of there.
Yeah, see, I've gotten used to that. Like,
bitch outside. You got the engine out. Get a damn strap. Support the tranny. Roll that bitch out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I've learned that quite a bit. Like, I'll get a car here. Check this car. All right, cool. Checking it. Raise it up, boo boo. All right, needs this. Right, take it. Push it out. Next one. You know.
Yep.
So, but the thing I was to say, because one was like parts, whatever. So at old shop, everything was OEM. Everything. We had to
Right.
wait 3 days, a week, then we waited.
Right.
Here it's like unless it's like super
O'Reilly.
crucial, unless it's super crucial, like the Nissan I did a power steering pump, like it's only OEM, or if
Right.
it's like it's a dealer only item, or if it's like timing chains or stuff like that, we're gonna use OEM stuff. I got a Ford timing chain,
Timing change you can use like Cloys.
I got a 2.0 timing chain job on Monday, so I might watch your
You
video.
use Cloy stuff for what? 2.0? On
Yeah,
what engine?
Ford 2.0. It's not an EcoBoost, it's just a 2.0 engine. It's on an
Oh, okay.
old Transit. Old Transit. I had to use the key to pop the hood. Never seen that
No,
before.
wow. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
I'll send you a video on Monday. Um, but it's basically whoever can get it to us first. So
Cool,
parts
man.
is like here has been like in and out like almost every car. Like we got parts here, hang it and bang it. And I guess
That's everywhere. Big Puppy Tools, what's up? All the way from Australia.
dang Australia for
Hang on,
real.
let me. We got some comments coming in here. Hang on one second. He's Big Puppy
Go
Tools is
for it.
from Australia. We got
That's crazy.
A Murray is in Missouri. I couldn't work on the Rust Belt. I would quit. I would be like a I don't know Taco Bell employee or something. For real, not even gonna lie. We talk about it at work. We get cars that are like rust buckets, and we're like, dude, there's no way in hell you could pay me to work on this damn thing. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, different breeds,
I
man.
give
Rust
props
Rust
to
Belt
all you
mechanics.
people that do oil changes with a torch. You know what I mean? If I gotta have a torch to do an oil change, hell no. Like
Like
I know it's exaggeration, but I'm just saying,
you
that's
gotta
crazy.
really
But
love your job.
hey, for real. So Davion, I want you to really think about this. The next time you do steering suspension, I want you to think about it. I want you to torque it. I want you to run it in with your gun, whatever you
Look,
do. And then I
every
want you to
time,
get your torque wrench out, and I want you to see that it doesn't move. And then you have to move it further with your gun to get it to get the cotter pin in there. And I want you to try to gain some confidence.
but
It's
look,
confidence.
I've already said if it's a
It's
castle nut, I'm
confidence.
not torquing it. Castle nut
What?
just if it's a castle nut, I'm not torquing it
Okay,
because
so if
you're
it's a
gonna torque,
lock nut,
you're gonna torque it, and it's not gonna line up like you said. Like obviously it's not. Get the impact, it's in there. It's not lined. All right, now it's lined. Put the cotter pin, cut it nice and clean and flush. Locking nut, like sway bar links, I'm not torquing sway bar links. It's fucking tight.
all
And
right.
they're very low torque specs. Um, but like ball joints, I'm not torquing ball joints. You know, they're locking nuts. But I have
Why are
torqued
you
tie
torquing a
rod
lock
ends.
nut? Why do
Just
you torque a lock nut? Why do you torque a tie
it's a
rod
ease
end?
of mind, man. I don't know. It's just the way. I don't know. I just started doing things. It's
No,
just
no, no. I know. That's that. No, no. So what you didn't. What I want you to listen to me is say, I want you to gun it on until you think it's tight.
and
Okay,
then make sure
and I
that
want you to
it's
just try this. It's an experiment. It's going to take you a little bit of time, right? But take it from me. I'm an OG. I've been doing this a long time, right?
I've been doing it longer.
I want you to just try it.
All
I
right,
want
try
you
it.
to tighten it down until you think it's tight, right? If it was your car and you think it's tight, and then I want you to get your torque wrench, and I want you to just see that it's tight, and you can trust yourself. For steering and suspension, you should not use a torque wrench. You don't need a torque wrench. I'm
I
just
can
saying,
concur. I
if
can
you
concur
want
because
to use a torque wrench
like
and
I
it
said,
makes you feel good for the rest of your career, that's fine. But I'm trying to help you grow, learn more, be faster, produce more, and not do things that you don't need to do. That's one of the things you don't need to do.
I'm
But
fast as
you have
fuck,
to feel
boy.
good about it. You have to trust it. Kind of like when my boss told me a long time ago that I don't need a torque lug nuts. I had to believe that I didn't have to torque lug nuts to let the car leave. So that's what I'm saying. Just try it. Just try it. That's all.
Hold
All
up, I'm gonna try. It.
right.
I'll
So we
let
got
you. I'm
some
gonna
people
send you a
rolling
picture.
in here.
We got Chrysler technician.
Yeah,
Look, check
for
this
real.
out.
Let's just try
Got offered a job at
it.
Kia dealer. Work on Dodges now. Only worked for them. Our Kia is difficult. If you want to make a lot of money and you want to do a bunch of short blocks, Kia and Hyundai's your bread and butter, baby. You'll be busy for days
Oh
on
my
end.
god. Oh my god, I just had one the other day. I didn't even get it put on Instagram because I literally like pulled it in, I tried to crank it in the parking lot. It wouldn't crank over. I pulled it in the parking lot, make sure that, the engine was hard to turn, took the belt off, still hard to turn, put the belt back on, pushed it outside, and then tow truck came. And I was like, dang
Spun
it, I
rod
didn't even get
bearing.
to put it. It was like something about the 2.4. I think it's the 2.4. Is it the 2.4?
2.4, yeah,
On the
2.4.
Hyundais and Kias?
Yep.
What?
No, I was
Yeah, the
gonna say
2.4.
you'll be doing an engine at least once every other day. Steering
Oh, Jesus
couplers,
Christ. Oh, my
AC
God.
compressors. That's money. Every
Yep.
Hyundai and Kia dealer, they're making bank. That I know personally, they're making bank because they're just flagging.
If I was going
But
to work at any dealership, I would work at Ford. I was going to work
yep,
at Ford, actually. Before I went to the shop I was at, there
you
was a
don't
fleet department that wanted me to work there. But I didn't want to work on nothing but Power Strokes.
see. That's the only reason that
All right.
keeps me from a
I
dealer.
know, but I'm worried about the warranty times. Oh, so warranty times suck, dude. Like, so Chrysler technician. That's the reason I didn't go work in the dealership when I got out of school was because of warranty. I didn't want to do warranty stuff because when warranty comes through, you're doing a lot of them at really crappy time. And you're
But you
getting
get
no
good.
Vaseline either. Hey, no Vaseline. With that
No
being said,
Vaseline,
man,
bro.
all dry, bro.
But
For real.
Hyundai's are
Band-Aids and
easy.
just, yeah.
Hyundai's are easy, man. Like I kid you not. Like
But
okay,
no, but
there's
it's not on under warranty.
even
No,
under
so any
warranty time.
dealership's gonna suck under warranty.
Okay, I put it this way. Like if you're there for maybe your first 6 months, and you've never worked on a Kia or anything like that, then But the engines are easy, man. They're gravy.
I know, but
Um,
but but you say that, but you have to think about like it might be gravy, but like if you do it in 5 hours, warranty time is 4.2,
I mean
right?
you're losing your time, yeah.
3.9, and then so then you're losing money. That's what I mean by that is you're losing. I don't
Okay,
care how
okay.
easy it is.
Let's ask
You're
him.
not
Like,
going to
okay,
do it at warranty time, is what I mean.
well, like think of it like this way. Okay, so like I remember last time we had a guy in the group chat. He was a Ford tech. Just said he just got diesel certified and shit. Upper oil pan on a fucking 6.7 14 hours. You think he said warranty time is like 10 hours or something like that. So it's not that big of a, but there is some
Warranty
warranty
time is
jobs.
10 hours?
I could have sworn he said like it was very close to what
It's
it
not
was.
10 hours. It's not even 10 hours on book time.
What do you mean it's 14 hours for the upper oil pan
On a 6.7?
on a 6.7?
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. I have hella
14
service records.
hours?
Well, that's what pro demand. That's what I have. If I pull out
Oh,
my
no, I
service
believe
record
you. I
book,
believe you. I just haven't done one. I haven't looked at book time in a minute.
service records, yeah, because the last one I did, yeah, it was 14 hours. Because that
Oh,
was a
wow.
good week. That was a good
Last one
week
I
for
did, I
me.
had a bolt break.
See, okay, the last one I did, remember I mentioned, I was like, dude, this thing's fucking leaking, and it was a timing cover.
No, yeah.
Remember? So that was actually the last one I
Yeah.
did. I think that was back in like January. It's been a while.
Dude, Fords are awesome, Chrysler technician, just so you know. I like working on Fords. That's my favorite thing to work on. Oh, no, Toyotas are actually my favorite. But yeah, I don't want to work in a dealership because I don't want to do warranty crap.
Yeah, warranty time sucks. Ford suck to work on, in my opinion. I'm so used to Fords. It's like there's money there. If you follow Ford Tech Maculoko, 3.5s, man, they're gonna keep you in business. 5.4s keep you in business. It's just
Oh my God, water pumps all day on the 3.5s.
yeah, water pump, timing chains,
Yeah.
um, turbos, heater or coolant pipes for the heaters,
Oh
not
yeah, for the turbos.
for the turbos.
Yeah.
But Kia's really easy, man. You only need a certain amount of tools. 12s, 14s, 17s,
Yep.
19s,
19.
21s, 22. maybe a 24. And no, but if I ever went to a dealership, I think I would have to go to like a Mercedes or
I could
Volvo.
afford.
Ah, the thing is, I don't know. Like I mean, you get tired of
The
repetitive.
dealership's
No,
not paying you by the hour, just so you know.
yeah,
You're not
but
going to be salary at the dealer.
you don't get tired of doing the same thing over and over. Like,
Well, no, but you're never going to make. You have to work on. You know how long you have to work on crap to make any money? Like in a dealership, like where you're working on the same crap over and over again, like a lot. It would take you a while to like really like, you know.
I guess. I
I
mean,
don't know. I just don't want to work in a dealership. Like I would never work in a dealership. If I had to,
uh,
I would, I guess. But
but then I just see it as like, well, even if you get really good at
oh, look
something,
at
like,
you, Warner! I got a video on that water pump, brother.
see, you don't drop the engine, do you? You
For
know,
a
with the
3.5?
subframe for a 3.5, yeah, for the water
No,
pump
not for
timing
that.
chains.
No, not for an Explorer. No.
Because I've seen several people like they drop the engine, and I wonder if it's just for like the timing cover. Because sometimes the timing
Well,
cover can be
it depends on the engine. See,
yeah,
an Explorer is a pain in the ass to drop. It's not like a
Ford Fusion or something.
Some of them aren't like a. So some of them are. So remember this, and Chrysler the same way. If your engine and transmission hang, like the mount hangs,
Hmm.
and you have a torque mount, you're not dropping that easily
Yeah, unless it's gotta have a
because
full
it's not
frame.
sitting in a subframe. It's when it sits
Yeah,
in a subframe that you can drop the cradle, the engine, whatever down. But like if you have any sort of an engine that hangs, you can't drop it like regular. It does because
yeah,
it doesn't drop. There's nothing. It doesn't sit in anything.
just held up.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, unless you have something to hold it, like you're screwed. So, like I did a Jeep one
When you
time.
when
It was a pain in the ass to drop the. I did heads on a 3.6 Jeep, but it was a pain in the ass because it was 4-wheel drive. The
uh
subframe didn't drop. You know, it was just a lot of
on
hassle.
on the when you do water pumps, do you do the timing chains too and the phasers and all that, or you just do the water pump and
Well, it all depends on the customer. So I did a water pump on one. It was just a leaking water pump. It's all I wanted to fix. The last one I recommended the chains and the phasers because they're common to fail. However, I said you could do just the water pump, and they didn't care about that, and they did just the tranny pan. So, well, you know, what sucks is it was an oil change, and the tech noted that the transmission was wet, and it appeared to be coming from the front pan, right? But they didn't note it. They didn't notate that the coolant was this low, below the low mark, right?
just basically empty?
So after it came from an oil change to me to check for the transmission leak, I was like, "Oh, the coolant's low." I lift it up. I'm like, "Oh, it's got staining all down the alternator,
By the
the
compressor,
water pump,
or was it alternator?
and a training pan." What?
No, I was thinking compressor, but I think it
Yeah,
is alternator.
all down the alternator, all down the front of the engine. I was like, "Oh, it needs a water pump." I was like, "Heck yeah!" We were slow too. I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be it right here." And my service writer was like, "This is my bread and butter right here." I was like, "Okay, cool." And then he was like, "Yeah, they're just doing the front tranny pan on the train. That's all they're doing." I was like, "Oh, your bread and butter, huh?"
Damn it.
But
I
yeah,
don't
you
know.
know.
I think Dodge have a lot of money too, because I mean, you got the 3.6, you got the Hemis, you're gonna do cam. I'm pretty sure you probably do a bunch of camshafts and lifters, Chrysler technician.
But I
Um,
mean, you have to think about it like this: like you think that you're going to make a lot of money, but you got to remember you're doing it against book time.
yeah,
You're not adding time to it. Like in the independent world, we can sell a 4-hour job for 5 hours, whatever. When you're in the dealership, you're not
it's all
adding that
customer
extra
pay.
time. Yeah, you're getting
Yeah,
whatever it books out at. Like you're screwed. So I don't know. That's just my opinion, but
I don't know. If it was up to me, I'd honestly like eventually I just want to do like rebuilds and diags, whether it's like rebuild a transmission, an engine, rear end. Like I'd rather have someone, hey, this engine needs a rebuild. All right, have that guy pull it out and bring it to me. I'll
See,
rebuild it.
my goal,
He can
my
stab
goal
it.
when I started was I wanted to learn how to fix most stuff on most everything. That's kind of how I described what I wanted when I was in school.
Yeah, I want to be able to work on
I didn't
anything
necessarily want to
too.
learn
Like
everything
I know we had this talk
because
before.
I
Like
want to make money.
of course, it's everyone's motivation, more money. But like if a Ferrari comes in, like I want to be able to like, all right, let's fucking toggle this shit. You know, I don't want to
But I
be.
don't want to because here's the thing about that is like you have to think about it like this. Have you ever seen a video of what it takes to do an oil change or a service on a Bugatti or a
Yeah,
Ferrari or exotic cars, right?
fucking
So
10 hour oil
you
change.
get paid, $4.15 to do an oil change, a Ferrari guy is going to make $68 to do the oil change, and you're doing it for $4.15. Because of the time that you charge, it's
Yeah,
nothing. It's nothing. It's 0.4 for an oil change for us, unless it's a diesel. It's a little bit more.
really?
0.4 to
I
do an
think
oil
point
change
at the
on a
old shop it
Ferrari,
was like point 0.5 for all across the board.
right? So I mean, it's different, but I'm just saying, for a Ferrari, like we've had cars come in, it's like, really, you're going to charge the same amount to service that car as you do
But so
that car?
do
Like
they not
that's
look
crazy.
up labor times? Because I feel like there's some
You
oil
can't on
changes.
a Ferrari. It doesn't come up, and we don't have labor times for that stuff.
No,
It doesn't come up in your regular labor times.
it's gotta come up somewhere.
Well,
Like
yeah, you have to have
benefits,
you have to have for that
IATN.
kind of clientele.
I don't
You
know.
have to think about it
We
like
ha-
that. Who's
we have a
working on
19.
Ferrari and Bugattis? Like I watched a video about a Bugatti one time, and it took the guy like I don't know 4 hours to change the oil, and it cost
Fuck.
like a lot of money to do the
ten
oil change.
thousand $10,000 for an
It was
oil
a lot
change
of money. Dude had to take the whole front, like the whole car apart, like to do an oil change. It was
on a
crazy.
Bugatti, right?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
Bugatti. It was
Bugatti.
on.
It's
It
like
was like
it's like
yeah,
$14,000 oil change, 10
yeah. It's
hours.
crazy. So I
That'd be
mean,
dope.
you can't compare that to like a Camry.
But see, those
You
are like
know,
exotic cars, professional cars. But I'm saying like I would like to, work on that. Like, hey,
well, if you're going to work on
sure,
that, you need to work in a shop that works on that kind of stuff. Unless you have your own shop, otherwise
yeah, I
you're going to
guess
get
so.
screwed. You're going to get screwed.
Yeah, you need the special equipment and software to make
Well, the
sure.
time, no, the time. You're going to spend 3 hours changing the oil on something you got paid, for 25 minutes for. That's the thing you have to think about.
I guess so.
I
But I mean,
mean, it'd be cool to like, oh, I changed the oil on this Ferrari, but I mean, really, like, I got raped by this Ferrari. It like took it, no gasoline and everything. You know what I
working
mean?
on change the battery on a Ferrari. It took
Yeah,
me 2 days. Fuck yeah.
exactly. I had to go to
made
YouTube, and I was frustrated. I pulled my hair out.
made half
Got it
an
done.
hour. Made
Got it
half an
done.
hour.
16 hours later, and I made hella bank, bruh.
But I changed.
11.50.
I worked on a Ferrari shit. Bro, what's
So
funny? I saw this guy post on he's a guy like here in town that I follow on Facebook, and it was funny because he had posted like he's like I work on everything, and it was a Rolls Royce, right? But he was just doing like an AC service, and I was just like calm down, bro. Dude, it's not that difficult to hook up some. Like if you're doing a
yeah.
timing or something like that, I'd be like nice, but. No, I'm not. I just switched shops 2 weeks ago. I just finished my second week today at the new shop I'm at. You know what's cool, man? So Mark actually gave me his bay. He had the biggest bay, so now I got the biggest bay. I got my toolbox and got my table and my card, and I got the
Hey.
nicest chair in the shop, and I'm just chilling. It's dope. It's cool. Um, definitely
Hang
better
on. Let
money.
me hang on one second. Hang on
Yeah,
one
there's a
second.
bunch of.
So Warner, yes. So Flying Wrenches Automotive just posted Instagram and a TikTok recently with the brand new
3.0.
part number. So the phasers have went through a lot of phasing of parts, and he said, according to him, he's a Ford tech. The phasers have went through several phases, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time that they've come out with a phase of them that don't make noise.
Nice.
So if you go look at his TikTok or Instagram, he has a video of the updated phaser, and he tells you what the part number starts with. So you want to make sure that you use those phasers
On any new kind of
yeah.
3.5.
He said the dealers are still using the old ones to get rid of them,
Oh,
even though they make noise sometimes.
didn't I send you that video and you're like, oh, I follow
Yeah,
this guy?
I had already seen it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I follow him. I like him. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he works on Ford, so I was like, follow.
So yes, Warner. I have a video where I do a water pump on a 3.5 Explorer. And yes, there is special tools, but it's only to lock the cam. I show you the special tools. I show you how to use them, how to set them up, and how to do the job. But yes, you do need special tools, and I do show that in the video. And if you're working on anything and you have a question, feel free to message me on my Instagram, and I will gladly help you. I have no problem helping. I like to help people. So Adrian said Ford. And then the Chrysler guy said, guess what? He's going to tell us a secret. I just did a trans on a 2500 Ram, and warranty rejected the claim, and we had to pay for it because I didn't read in the service library that you must use new drive shaft bolts. So we had to pay for it because of drive shaft bolts. Wow.
So it's crazy.
Hang on. Let's see. Oh yeah, there you go. Lambos have like 7 drain plugs. Yeah, see, that's why you shouldn't be working on. I mean, it'd be cool. Like, I did an oil change on a, whatever. But I mean,
I also think you're right. Like, if obviously a Lambo's not gonna come into one of our shops and like, hey, how much
yes, it
oil
will
change? If it
yes,
does,
it will.
Okay, you gotta be dumb to be like, okay, we'll charge you half an hour.
Will take it.
Oh my god!
And it'll come to you, and you'll be like, bro, what, for real? Why do I have this car?
You need to be fired. The fucking service writers doing that kind of shit.
Bro, Davion is not at the same shop. He just started a new shop, Chrysler technician, this past week.
Oh shit! Look, I thought I grabbed a beer. I grabbed a fucking Pepsi.
What
bitch.
The Pepsi? It is Flying Wrenches Automotive. Warner, hang on one second. Maybe I just grabbed one. Yeah, it's Flying Wrenches Auto with no S. Is his That's my last beer. No.
This is my last beer. I'm out.
Yeah, he is a Southern homeboy. Yeah, I'm gonna have one more, and then I gotta.
No, it's funny. Okay.
1 second.
I remember this one time. I don't know if you saw my Instagram. I was pulling an engine out in my front yard for an F-150 that I have, and I was fucking thirsty, right? And I go inside, open up the fridge, and I see a blue can. I'm thinking, oh, nice, Pepsi. I grab it, go back outside, open it up. I'm just fucking chugging it, and I was like, man, this Pepsi takes watered down like a motherfucker. I look at it, it's a fucking Bud Light. I was like, son of a bitch. Fucking Bud Light. I hate Bud Light. Don't know why I was there, but good beer. Cheers if you're drinking. I just killed a 6-pack, guys, so some light beer, not too much. Yeah, that Flying Ridges, he's got some pretty good stuff. I just followed him like a couple weeks ago too. I saw a video about something that had to do with Fords. 805. So you're out there in, is that Sacramento too? 805. I had one of those the other day. It's not too bad. Pretty dope. Warren Richards. Why do I feel like you follow me on Instagram, right? Like I've seen your name like several times. Oh, Virgo. Yeah, Warren Richards. There he is. Popped up. I recognize your profile picture.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah, your shades. Remember your shades like in your profile picture.
What are you looking at?
No, because Warren Richards, I was like, I've seen his name a lot. So I could picture his Instagram, and I went and looked right now, and I was like, yeah, it's him. Drinking no Pismo Beach. Where's that at? I had told him that I posted on the Instagram when I was pulling an engine out of my front yard on an F-150. I was
Uh-huh.
thirsty as hell. I was like, oh, let me go get like a Pepsi, and I went, grabbed. I saw a blue can, so I figured Pepsi. Grabbed it, opened it up, and I just started chugging it. As I'm walking outside, and I'm like, man, this shit's watered down. And I look at the can, it's a fucking Bud Light.
Oh my God. Hey, I got a better one. So I'm back in my old shop. We used to have every other month. You had to work Tuesday through Saturday. So
Damn.
every Monday, every other month on Mondays, I would take the kids to school.
Okay.
Right. And so I'm about to leave. I'm getting ready in the morning, and there's a water bottle on the kitchen table, and I go grab it, and I took a big ass slug. Right. I mean, big ass slug. I was hell thirsty. It was the morning. Big ass slug. It was
Fucking
vodka.
vodka.
Oh, my wife went and did like I don't know, some like concert in the park or something, right? And so she had vodka, or no, she went somewhere anyway. She had some vodka in a water bottle, and I don't like vodka at all. I don't like the taste of
Oh.
it. I don't like it in any drinks. I don't like it at all. And I was about to leave to go take the kids to school. So then I had to run upstairs, brush my teeth. I'm like, please God, I hope I don't smell like vodka when I walk in there to drop off my kids. Look like
Drinking
I'm a
already? It's 8 in the morning.
yeah, it's 8 in the morning and I smell like vodka, right? And so I'm praying to God that nobody's like, I think that he was drunk.
Yeah. Fucking alcoholic. Dude, I remember the first time. This one time, we're at my grandma's sister's house, right? I was a kid. They had a badass pool table in the garage and stuff, and they had a fridge in there with drinks. I was like, man, I'm thirsty. It's hot in here. So I opened up the fridge, and we're like 10. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I see a water bottle, and I open it up, and I'm drinking it. I'm like, spit it out. I was like, oh, this water tastes disgusting. Fucking vodka and shit. And I didn't realize like, but
The first hard liquor I ever tasted was peppermint schnapps.
I, ugh.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah. That's all kinds of bad right there.
dude, I had
That is
on
nasty.
my birthday recently. So this guy bought me a shot. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy you a shot." He's like, "Okay, a free shot, so I can't." Then I get it, and it smells like toothpaste. I'm like, ugh. I was like, whatever. Most disgusting thing ever. Anything peppermint, no,
Oh
no
yeah.
go, no go. But so being in Cali, so if you do you still have to clock in? Like if you show in, do you have like a clock in, or is it just like, hey, I'm here at
Uh,
work,
where I'm at now, we just write in.
you write in?
It's all the honesty. It's all about honesty.
So say you work, 40-hour week, but you only flag 30 hours. You get paid 40 hours?
So I don't. So we don't get paid by hours. We get paid by the hour. So like I have a set amount of money that I make per hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just for showing up. I could show up and sit on my ass, and I make a certain amount of money. And
Gotcha.
then let's say I make 50 hours in a 40, let's say, well, we get paid every 2 weeks. So let's say I make 90 hours in an 80-hour work week. Then I'm going to get bonused on that 10 extra hours. So
Okay.
then I make more money. But if I only work, if I work 80 hours and I make 78, then I make X amount of money.
You still get paid essentially 80 hours at a certain rate.
Yeah, we get paid by the amount of time we're at work, not
Gotcha.
by how many hours we flag.
I was talking to a guy. He lives in Chicago. He works for I talked to him a lot. He works for Aston Martin, which is pretty dope. I was like, dang, I want to go work on that stuff. But he was saying like they're on a guarantee of I think like 36 hours. Like they work, but they're guaranteed 36 hours at a set pay scale. And if they flag over that, then they'll get paid at a certain pay scale.
Right.
So I was like, huh, that's pretty cool. So like where I'm at now, it's salary plus production bonuses.
So it's the same as where I'm at now. You just make an hourly plus bonus.
It's like basically I'm guaranteed a certain amount check every week, regardless what I work on. If I produce, then I get a higher pay. And
is that a salary or is that so if you work 39 hours or 44 hours, do you make the same amount of money?
No, it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 6.
So
if
you don't go in until, let's say you have to go in at 10 o'clock one day, or one day you don't get there till 11.
I don't know because I show.
You got to remember one thing: salary means you make this much money no matter what
you work. Well, see, like okay, like
hourly is different.
Like Wednesday, I mean, put Wednesday. Wednesday was kind of dead, and like I was just chilling. Really?
No, I don't care about that. It's the time that you show up to work. So let's say you have a dentist appointment. You don't go in until 11:30. You have an appointment, and you're not there till 11:30. Well, now instead of working 40 hours, now you worked 33.5. So
you still get the
same amount of money as 33.5 as you do at 40?
Yes.
Okay, so you officially really do work salary then.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to make sure.
But there's production bonuses. So if you produce,
well, yeah, they have to incentivize you to get you to do work.
Yeah.
If they didn't, then people would just produce
the bare minimum.
Yeah. And then that's what I'm trying to help you is, if you listen the next time you do steering suspension, and I'm not trying to be a nag or anything like that. I'm trying to help you.
But the production bonus is only there.
And you really think about it, what you're doing, you'll be able to make more money because you'll be not spending as much time doing things you don't need to do. And you'll be like, oh, crap. Oh, my God. Holy crap. I don't really need to do this stuff. Doesn't really make a difference,
I mean, but I know that. It's like I don't have to, but it's just like I said, it's just a peace of mind. Like I said, the first 3 years of my career.
We work in an industry where there's things that you have to worry about and things that you don't have to worry about.
I don't know, like okay, like I know you've mentioned like brake jobs. So like here, let me talk about brake jobs because I know you say, you put it on or you do whatever the process you do, and then you go and you put locks out, you double check, boom. Do you test drive your vehicle after you do brakes?
Always.
Okay, but after you do your
brake drive, I never ever take wheels off of a car without test driving it.
Do you, so like tires, right?
Like if I took so here's an example. I took if I did a tire rotation, it was an oil change in the tire rotation. I didn't take it far. I didn't take it far. I took it all the way down to the end of the court, turned around, came all the way back, and went as fast as I could to make sure there was no vibration. Make sure there was no problem with the lug nuts, and then I parked the car, and that was it. But I never ever take the wheels off of a car and then put it in the parking space without driving it ever.
Okay, because that was kind of like my main concern. Like if the wheels come off, even for a tire rotation, if I'm changing tires, I'm test driving it. If the wheels come off, I'm test driving it no matter what.
Yeah.
But like with brakes, right? So if wheels came off, I test drive.
With brakes, so yeah, because I'm taking the wheels off.
I test drive it, but so before I do brakes, I always check the temperature on the rotors. Like I'm checking
I don't remember that.
is anything sticking? Is anything running hot? And then afterwards, I'll test drive it and make sure, hey, is everything good? Just a habit I've
I
learned,
don't do all that.
so making sure everything's
That's a
good.
habit that you probably could get rid of. Just
But I,
trying to, I mean,
but there's been a handful of times where I'm like, holy crap! After I do a brake job, and it's like this side, this caliper's sticking. This side's
well,
at
yeah, but I mean,
200.
when you took it apart, though, I can almost guarantee you when you took it apart that you could have saw that there was a problem by taking when you took it apart. Because it's
Yeah,
not likely that there was no problem before and you did brakes and you put it back together and now there's a problem. You have to remember, look
or
at the pads.
or you could put
Look at
new
the pads.
calipers. You could put new calipers because you had a torn piston boot. Put
But I
new
mean, look at the
calipers and it's
pads.
still sticking. But
But I
yeah,
mean,
you can tell what kind of wear you have from pads. But I'm
that's what I'm
saying
talking
like
about. Look at the pads. You don't need a heat gun. Look at the pads.
no, I'm saying like okay, so say I have a caliper, the piston boot's torn, and we're replacing the caliper,
Right.
right? Put it on a test drive. It's got new calipers, but one's bad out the box. It's sticking. It's hot. It's just I've
Okay.
seen it happen a lot to me. So like now, every time I test drive, check the temp. If it's in a if it's in within a temperature that I think is efficient, like that's good. That's not too hot. It's not too cold. All
But
right,
you don't
check
need
it.
to do that.
But also, it takes 30 seconds.
But
Boom, check.
30
Boom, boom.
seconds, I know, but you think it takes 30 seconds. You got to go
No,
over and get the tool out of your box and go
nope.
over and
As soon as I go
do
on my test drive, it's in there. It's in there. As soon as I get out, pop, pop, pop.
like I said, it's not anything that there's like a standard. I'm just telling you little ways that you can cut corners and little things that you don't need to do.
I don't know.
I've been doing this for 17 years. I've never ever test drove a car and went and checked the rotor temperature ever.
It's
So,
just something
you know, I know. And you know what? Like I said in the beginning, you have to feel good about the things that you do when you do it. You can't just be like, okay, I guess I'm not going to do that because,
So
well,
you
he
tell
doesn't
me it's like
do it.
to this day, if you do a
You
timing
can't.
belt job, you're just like you never get that feeling like fuck. I hope it starts and everything. Because I'll do a timing belt. I'll
On a
rotate the
timing
engine
belt?
several
No.
times. I'm like, all right, let's. I hope it starts. I hope I didn't forget anything. Go and start it. It starts. I don't know. I always have that anticipation.
Well, if you ever seen any of my videos, I make sure the engine's in time every single time before I start. And as long as the engine is in time, I mark the belt to all the sprockets. I take the belt off. I put it on the ground. I lay the new one on top. I mark the new one to the old one.
But I mean, you rotate
And
the engine, right? After you put
rotate.
it on.
Well, of course, I roll it, crank over twice. So the whole engine's moved over at one time. And then I
But
make sure that all my marks line up, right? All my engine marks, my belt marks aren't going to line up anymore, right? So all my engine marks line up. And then I'm good. It's done.
do you like start it up real quick before you put everything on, or you just slap everything on
Well,
and then start
it
up?
depends on the car. It depends on the car. It depends on my familiarity with the car. Um, but like I said,
But I'll tell you what, I've done a bunch of like Nissan 3.3 timing belts. I've done a bunch.
right, me too.
Every time, I'll rotate it like 4 or 6 times, like air lines up.
Why?
Actually,
That's 30
and
times.
the reason why is because I've had one once where um I rotated it twice, right? And it lined up, and then I rotated it one more time, and it was out of time because of the
No, no way.
tensioner. For the
So,
tensioner.
oh, okay, all right.
So I had to replace it. So that way, so since then, since that happened, I always rotated like 4 or 6 times. Like, is this new tensioner good? You know, and then
I roll the crank
I'll,
twice.
I'll put the bottom cover, put the crank, and I'll go and start up as a startup. All right, cool. Then I'll finish putting it all together.
So
I don't know.
little things that you can cut. You can cut little corners. But I mean, it's things that you have to feel good about. You have to feel okay with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I felt good, but
Like
like,
shooting the rotors of the temp gun and rolling the engine over like 6 times, like all those things. You don't really need to do all that stuff, but If you feel comfortable doing that and you don't feel comfortable not doing it, you're not going to be able to not do it.
I guess that's the way it is, because like I can't. It's like I cannot not like. I don't know. I feel like I have like this feeling like I'll just use brake jobs where I've done a brake job, and I'm like everything's good. Like I know everything's good, right? I'll test drive it. I'll park it. It's happened twice that I've done this, and I'm like, no, it's good. And this happened, years ago, but it's like fuck, I left something loose, or something happened. It's just like fuck. So I don't know. I guess ever since then, it's just like it doesn't hurt. Like, does it hurt? I guess better
You have a
safe than
little.
sorry.
Do you suffer from OCD at all? A little bit.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I do. No, I do.
I
And
think
I
when it comes to
do
repairs,
that.
is like I just want to know it's good. The customer's not gonna. I don't know. I have a big thing of my name. Like I don't want my name to be like, you fucked up my car. I was the last. Like, and I have a bad habit of like if I'm doing something and I see something wrong that has nothing to do with what I'm doing, it's like I can't leave it like that. I gotta fix it. And I'm losing my time, I'm losing money doing that, but it's because in my mind it's like I'm the last technician to touch this fucking car. If something happens with this, and then of course you can be like, well, hey, this was like this before I touched it, but
Right.
I don't know, it's just the name of the game, I guess.
It's just little things that you have to learn. You have to learn. You have to feel comfortable with. Things like that. So
Do you like your shop? You've been there what, a year and a half now?
yeah,
You said
that's
the
busy.
I think last time we hung out, you said that was the first time you had hang out with your coworkers, right? Like y'all all went out and socialized like outside of work.
Yeah, we just went out like not super long ago. We went out, and then actually last night they all went out. Um, but
And
I
another
didn't go
one.
last night. They all went out last night. A lot of them too. They went like far though, because they went like all the way to like another town,
Oh
like the
wow.
complete
Like
opposite direction. I'm like, nah, I don't feel like going all the way
they
up
went to
there.
they went to Malibu.
Yeah, I mean, so we gotta. Oh boy, here you
Another
go, right
one.
here. Here you go, Davion. I got you hooked up right here, bro.
Find love on the best dating
Oh
site
my
or dating
god,
site. Dating.
yeah, buddy.
6'9" girls XYZ.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get you all hooked up, bro. All right, bye bye, 6'9" girls XYZ. All right, bro. Well, I gotta get off here because I got kids got soccer in the morning, but for real,
Yeah.
I hope you pick this. And if you have any questions, let me know. So remember what your old boss said: little things that you do cost you time and money, right? So little things that you do that you've told me tonight
But the
are
thing is, they're
costing
not
you. I
bad. They're
know.
not
Listen,
bad
let me
things.
finish. Let me think. Let me finish. So little things that you do that you do on cars, they cost you time and money. You have to feel comfortable releasing that. You have to like think about how much you get paid to do certain. Well, you get paid salary now, so I guess it's different. But you have to think about how much money are you getting paid to do certain things. You're in it. You go to work to make money, not to lose money. So little things like torquing tie rods and ball joints and engine mounts and all that stuff, just try to see what it feels like on the other side of the coin. Think about what I said. I've never torqued a tie rod. I've never torqued a ball joint. I've never torqued an engine mount. Those are things that you have to learn though, and you have to trust yourself and you have to trust your equipment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. You have to trust your gun, right? You zap something on. I zap on something. I have to trust that gun puts
Put
it
it
on
tight enough.
the way I think it's going to put it on, and then I'm gonna. Okay, so in your case, you take a torque wrench. Oh, what? Didn't move. Okay, crazy. All right. Okay, I got to move it a little bit. Get the cotter pin in there.
You know
Do all
what?
that.
I get your thing
The
because I do
next
that.
time, the same thing. That's all.
I do that with my lug nuts. So like, I'll use my impact, right? I do the ugga duggas. I'm like, okay. And then when I go and torque them, some of them will be or like will click right away, and then some of them I gotta turn.
Yeah, and some
So it's
don't
just like,
turn. I mean,
yeah.
some
So
turn, yeah.
some turn and some like most don't, but yeah, I definitely get it because I do that all the time with lug nuts. I use my impact, and I'm like, okay, this should be approximately tight enough. Sometimes all of
Right.
them are like, yep, they're tight, and then some are like, oh, this one turned a little bit. So
Yeah, I use everything with air, so it's kind of when I'm doing steering, suspension, wheels, I use all air. So, and
I don't own any air tools except the air hammer.
you need the air, the flex head impact.
Yeah, that's one
Yeah,
that's definitely one I want to get.
yeah,
Um, just because the right angle impact from Milwaukee was trash, but since they came out with that low profile flex head, I'll be good. But all right, man, I'll let you go. It was good hanging out
man.
with you. Finished on my beer
Yeah,
this
brother, I
time,
gotta get going here.
and I'll
Go
talk
to
to you later.
Doug. What's up, brother? All right, man. Well, hey, it was good hanging out. I
Yes,
hope you
sir.
guys all had a good time, and we will see you next time.
Later, guys.